Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door, loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back to the show. I gotta be honest with you, Mike. When you're doing a podcast or anything like this, a majority of the time you're spending effing with the equipment and fighting with technology, and if it isn't one thing, it's another. And I gotta be honest, I can vouch that every time I turn around, it's something, and it's not anybody's fault. It's just shit is gets wacky sometime, and apparently one of our I think my microphone situation should be fixed if that helps at all. But this morning, having a bit of an issue with the connector in my microphone, but we exchanged it out and switched it. I think we're going to be okay. But it's always something. And as I said, people say, how is it fun doing the podcast? How do you think of things to talk about? The majority of the problems is trying to get the equipment to maintain and to continue to work correctly. That's the biggest challenge.
That is the biggest challenge of the podcast, is getting the equipment to work right. The material is there. You and I, we're knowledgeable about what we're talking about. We're entertaining. We have a good back and forth rhythm. It's the fucking equipment, man. I love the equipment. It's great, but my God.
And Corey can relate. He's saying on board right now, dude. I fucking hate messing with the equipment and all the fun. Because here's the thing, Mike. I mean, we got a pretty good schedule. We've been doing this a couple times, and we could just kind of do things a certain way. And so then you get everything ready, and then it ends up being like the last possible thing, which it was today. I was literally connecting to get on, and you couldn't hear me, and I couldn't hear you. And again, just at the very last minute, I'm thinking, shit, what are we going to do? We didn't have the particular wire that I needed, so we're lucky that we had the extra microphone. But God damn, man,
it's great, man.
It isn't one thing, it is another. But we're glad to be here. It wasn't without a fight. I worked up a little perspiration, but we're going to make it through this one, guys. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 923 of the Two Dum Yinzers. What's up, everybody? Great to see you today. Glad to be back, Mike. This is Tampering Tuesday, if you will. So much stuff has gone on, but I don't want to skip, Mike, without saying this. It's also not only Tampering Tuesday, but, Mike, it is also Mario Day, March 10th. You could call it Mario Lemieux, you could call it Super Mario Brothers, whatever way you want, Mike. But at the end of the day, it is Mario Day. And so there you go. And here's the thing. I always get accused of not taking these corny little days seriously and just kind of passing by. So there you go. Mike, today is Mario Day. I didn't want to skip it. I didn't want to miss out. I didn't want to be accused of not doing fun things.
It's me, Mario.
So today we're going to have a little bit of Mario fun as well as getting back into the action, Mike, as it is Tampering Tuesday. It's time to get into it. It's time to do it. Let's get in a lot of things that went down yesterday after we got off the air. Some things looking like they may be in the works right now. Players that a lot of interesting things going on right now, Mike. How are you this morning? This afternoon, if you will.
I am doing swimmingly. I am doing well. I think we had one hell of a first day of free agency. Like it says on the thumbnail, man, we finally got some offensive firepower. I'm pumped. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see like if we make any moves today. I think some of these moves that we do today, they won't be like the sexy moves. I have a feeling it's going to be like offensive line and defensive
Mike, if
linemen.
they tackle that left guard position today, will you be happy?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, because that's going to now you have 4/5 of your line. You know who your starters are going to be. That left tackle, yes, very important position. You probably can pencil in Dylan Cook right there. And what would your reaction be if for the third time in like 5 drafts, we draft an offensive tackle in the first round?
Offensive tackle.
Like, isn't it like one of the top 3 most important positions? Like, I can just see it's coming. I can just see it's coming. And if it works, awesome. You move on from Brojo. You got Dylan Cook as your backup. You got your rookie going right there. You just move on. But I just have that feeling like we're going to get a guard here. Might be a move at linebacker. That's what the wins are feeling like. And then in the draft, we get left tackle.
That's it's all sounds really good, man. A lot of things going on. I'm seeing a lot of people on this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome to you. Let's check out the board, Mike, as it is Mario Day again, March 10th. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back, everybody. Great to see it. It's Tampering Tuesday. Got a lot to get into. We'll wrap up with everything that happened yesterday, Mike. We have the compensatory picks where they are landing for us. We have possible moves that might be happening here over the next couple of days. Some people may be leaving, some people may be going. But again, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people were happy with the way that the Steelers handled the first day of the tampering period, handling 3 major holes in the team. Of course, at wide receiver 2, at cornerback, and in the backfield. And we'll talk about that. We'll look at some comparisons from the last running back to the new running back today. A lot of things going on, and if there is anything that happens live during the show, we certainly will be talking about it. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome. Let's get to the board. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you be. Glad to see everybody. Corey, my man, Corey Beaver says, hey, fellas, first in, let's go. And, because you're the first in, I'm going to say, go check Corey out at Don't Drink That. It's a great conspiracy theory podcast right here on YouTube. Corey does a great job, puts out tons of content. Go check it out. I think you're going to love it if you love conspiracy theory.
And I just threw his link up there as well, because I know sometimes it's hard to find. So I threw it up there for him.
All right, we got that for you going. Also, we do have Cody. What's up, brother? He says this. How's it going up and down? It's going all right, man. It's going better now than it was about 10 minutes ago, so we're glad for that. Let's go to Tyrone. The GOAT is in the house. My man, JPJ's the GOAT. And I got to be honest with you, Mike, as I'm looking at these numbers and just what Jamel Dean has done, I am getting very excited about what we have at the top 2 cornerback positions on this team, and this could be good signs of things to come alongside a lot of other things, Mike. We'll get into that. We'll get into the positions of need still. So many things to get into today. RB says Steelers have checked in on quarterbacks Tyson Baggins, Tanner McKee, Joe Milton, and Davis Mills. Something is going on. Something is going on. RB, my man, always great to see you, bro. Hope things are going good for you at the home front there. Tortilla says Davis Mills is the GOAT. Great seeing Tortilla, as always, all the way from Sacramento, California. Cody says, now I'm left and right. You might be left, but you're not right, Cody. You definitely ain't right. But you know what? That's fine with me, bro. That's what it's all about. Let's go to RB. Follows his comment up with saying JPJ, now the best number 2 corner in the league, hands down. Hands down. And I know Tyrone's going to say, he's the best, but I got to be honest with you. If it's hands down the best number 2, he's very, very close to number 1.
Dude, like this duo, I know we're going to get into it soon, but my God, I'm pumped, dude. I'm fucking jazzed.
Do me one favor, just turn you down just a hair, not a whole lot.
Just a CH. Are we good?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I
well, now that's loud again.
Yes, because I projected my voice. I'm sorry.
If you're gonna project, turn down, and then when you're done projecting, turn up.
Okay, I'm just excited for what we have going on here, and JPJ, if he's like the number 2 corner on your team, you're doing something right, building a secondary.
Absolutely,
God, really you more or less have 2 number 1s out there. I fucking love it, man.
And then you got Asante Samuel, the nickel DB, the corner, and then you also got, I know a lot of people want a natural safety, but we do have Ramsey and Deshaun Elliott right now in the secondary. It's kind of getting older, but for what it is right now, we are making steps in the right direction. Mike, I think bringing in Jamel Dean was huge. Again, we'll look at his numbers later and see what he's done so far in his career. Let me jump to Chad. What's up, dude? Always great to see my man Chad Schrader, 42114. He says, what's up, Brian? Mike, hopefully we keep making moves today. And here we go, Steelers. Here we go. That's right, baby. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. As time gets even closer, Mike, we're only 44 days away from the NFL draft right here in Pittsburgh as we are in Tampering Tuesday. Free agency doesn't officially kick off till tomorrow at 4 o'clock. I'm going to be honest, Mike, a lot of stuff is going to happen between yesterday at noon and tomorrow for those 52 hours. A lot of action, and some teams making out like a bandit, some teams not so much, Mike. And we're also going to look at the money spent also in day 1 of free agency, the tampering period, we'll call it. Of course, so much to get into today. Somber, my man, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Somber. He says, yes, the horizontal stream. I have arrived. Great to see you, bro. Always great to see Somber. Tortilla says, I hope we sign a left guard today. That is very much in the possibility realm, Mike. I think they you know what? If this is what they had planned, if they went out and got their guy at receiver, got the cornerback that I think that is the right fit, and then again they handled the running back position. Maybe just these next couple of days are going to be looking around, seeing what we could grab on the left-hand side of the football, Mike. Where was I going with that? Where was I going? What was the comment? The thing is, I lost the comment. I'm trying to go back to what it was saying.
I can't remember what you were trying to say. Hitting left guard.
The left guard, yes, and of course the left guard position, Mike, can be maybe handled by tomorrow, some point, or maybe a little after. But that, Mike, it would be a good strategy, because then at that point you are needing basically your quarterback one, of course, a defensive tackle and a safety, and also the linebacker position. And we're still trying to monitor what's going on with that, as there are talks, multiple teams interested in Patrick Queen. A lot of speculation during the early part of offseason that he wasn't going to be moving, Mike, but I do know that Dallas is certainly inquiring, as they are trying to build that defense back up. As soon as Micah Parsons left last year, it really turned into wet paper, and I think Dallas is trying desperately to get that defense built back up.
Yeah, and I don't know what the market would be for PQ, and I know someone brought it up in the comments coming up. Just because we signed Cole Holcomb, that doesn't mean we should go immediately trade PQ, because all the faults that PQ has, like, he's available. He's going to be there game out. With Cole Holcomb, you don't know if he's going to play.
Right.
And I don't know who they would target in free agency. I know there's a couple guys in the draft process they were looking at, but the way they're building the team now, it seems like they still want to win. They're still in a win now mode while building the roster out for the future. Would getting rid of PQ this year, would that benefit the team going forward?
Depends what they bring in. I mean, there could be
it depends if they can get a player, a pick. It's all going to depend. So I want to see like what all the corresponding moves are going to be after they trade PQ if that comes about. Because right now I'm leaning towards keeping him. You know what you got with him. You got a new D coordinator. Let's see how he's going to use them. Keep building that D line so those linebackers can run free again. That's kind of when I would see what they're going to do there. So I'm not full on board getting rid of them. If they get rid of them, that's fine. But I just want to. I'm just trying to game out what their process is going to be once they do get rid of them.
Let me touch on some of the things that did happen yesterday, guys. We'll do this first. We're going to get into the players that did move. We're going to get into their money. We're going to get into people that came, people that went. But first of all, Mike, I want to talk about these compensatory picks. It got settled, Mike, that our 4 compensatory picks are going to be these. Round 3, the number 99th pick overall, the 135th pick overall at round 4, the 214th pick, 214th pick in round 6, and finally the 216th pick in round 6 as well, Mike. So that ultimately leaves us with pick in round 1, a pick in round 2, 3 picks in round 3, which I think is good. You get a nice amount of third round picks. You can still get really good players in the third round. 4th round, Mike, there's 2 picks. 5th round, there's 1 pick. In the 6th round, there's 2 picks. And then also in the 7th round, 2 picks, Mike. That equals the 12 draft picks the Steelers are going to have next month, just 44 days away, down on the North Shore and at the Point, Mike. It's over 700,000 people is what they're expecting to make their way into town at that particular time. It's going to be a lot going on in Pittsburgh. There's going to be a lot to do. I do know that everybody's preparing business-wise and everything else in Pittsburgh to get everything ready for that day. It's going to be huge. Again, the biggest event possibly overall, certainly in sports, Mike, in the history of our wonderful city.
I'm looking forward to it more and more each day it gets here. And like that draft capital, like you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks in the top 100. Whew.
That's a lot of picks in the top 100.
That's a lot of picks. Be awesome if they can get 5 guys at the top 100. But wouldn't it surprise me if we only see maybe 3 or 4 out of the top 100, depending on if they move up to get guys, because you're gonna have to pay a premium to move up if they see someone they like, but they still have enough capital below that to also move back up into the 3rd round somehow if they want to. So they have a lot of options going on into the draft.
They really do, Mike. The Steelers are putting themselves in a good position. They are in a pretty good position, and just by the way they started free agency, or the tampering period, if you will, and then with the draft again coming here, 1 million picks, Mike, new coaching staff. So again, to think that this team is going to totally fall off, I think is it's crazy to think. I think it'll certainly land on its feet. Whether it is able to be good enough to win a playoff game or even make the playoffs, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I do think the Steelers will land on their feet, Mike. Let me get to this stuff. This is also after we were off yesterday, a couple things did happen. A couple moves did happen. In case anybody didn't miss it, Isaac Seumalo is on his way to the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, that is the veteran left guard for the Steelers for the past 3 years, I believe, on his way to Arizona, Mike. And also, I don't remember if we just missed it or not, but everybody's pretty well aware about Rico Dowdle, Mike, the running back we get from Carolina. So those were 2 of the later things regarding our team and our players that happened. It might have been after we got off the air, so I did want to touch on that. So this is what day 1 looked like for the Steelers, as we do keep our eyes open here on day 2 for anything and everything to happen. I do know that there's certainly people looking, talking, whether the moves start happening anytime soon, I don't know. But Mike, this is what day 1 looked like for our guys. We re-signed Asante Samuel. That was the very first thing we were doing in the morning. We were re-signing him and Cole Holcomb. Cole Holcomb on a 2-year, $5 million deal. Asante Samuel on a 1-year, $4 million deal. And then you started seeing the players move and coming and going, if you will. The ones that were coming were somebody that a lot of people were excited about, Michael Pittman Jr. Mike, he's on bringing him in, I believe, a 3-year, $59 million contract. Then Jamel Dean from Tampa Bay, Mike, on a 3-year, $36.5 million. And then also we signed Rico Dowdle. That was the later one on a 2-year, $12.5 million contract. And then also, Mike, we did also sign Asezi Automio. We re-signed him as well for a year. Guys, we lost. Guys that are splitting town. Kenneth Gainwell, he's on his way to Tampa Bay, of course, was the MVP of the Steelers last year. James Pierre, Mike, on his way to Minnesota. And, of course, as we did mention, Isaac Seumalo on his way to Arizona. Mike, what are your thoughts on a pretty eventful day one of tampering?
I really, really like all the moves that we made. You shore up your top 2 wide receivers. You shore up your top 2 cornerback positions right there. For the top most important positions in the modern day NFL. I like that right there. The ground game, you can tell what kind of offense we're going to be running. Not going to be a whole lot of check down passes this time. It's going to be we're going to run it down your throat. Like Rico Dwaddle, just watch. I really haven't followed this group, but some of the highlights I was just watching, getting familiar with his game. Just I knew off stat sheet that he's pretty good, but watching him run, sometimes a little hesitation, patience, then he gets that burst, and then he can lower the boom. He is what people think Caleb Johnson could be. So Caleb Johnson, goodbye. There's the door. We don't need you. We got Rico Dwaddle. I like his addition to the room. I think him and Jalen Warren are going to be another good 1-2 punch. The way Jalen Warren and Najee was a good 1-2 punch. The way Jalen Warren and Kenny Gainwell is a good 1-2 punch. I really like that move there. And bringing back the guys that we already had under contract, I like. I think
because we wanted to keep Asante Samuel anyway. So
he was the one I really wanted. Onomatopoeia, him coming back. I like that move for depth on the line.
I like it only if you call him Onomatopoeia.
I know. I liked like the little bit of sample size that we saw from him last year when he was called upon. I liked. He's not an every down starter. He's a defensive line depth guy.
And Mike, that's one thing that you got to realize. I like that building your depth is just as important as building your starters on a team in its entirety. Yeah. Of course, you're not going to get the first team guys playing on your second team.
Yeah.
The best possible second team that you could possibly build. Yeah. You know what I mean? So in other words, you're constantly working to make the team better, no matter if it's the first, the starters, the guys that play second string, the guys that play third string, even guys that don't play, Mike, everything, the logistics, trying to figure out what to do with everybody, who fits where, and how are you going to have enough of everything to work and for it to be good. For it to be good and have a good product and put a football team out there that's able to win football games. So it's not easy, Mike. And that's why I do like Onomatopoeia, because he falls in that category. That's why I do like Cole Holcomb. He falls in that category. Are these guys going to make 6 plays all season? Maybe not. Who knows? But at the end of the day, Mike, you want to have the best possible situation because football is such an unpredictable sport. Play to play. The season could change like that with an injury. So, building that depth is just as important as finding your starters.
And I think Holcomb, like if someone above him would get hurt for a game, he can fill in. He has started capable. Otuomo, not so much. He could be able to fill in for a starter. That's why I think it's going to be important to get 1 or 2 guys in the draft. So he's appropriately at his level on the depth chart to where you're not, oh my God, he's my number 1 backup. But rotating in throughout the game, a drive here and there, perfect. I like that move. Not a sexy move, but those moves pay dividends down the line. But so right now, I really like what we're doing. They just got to keep doing it and doing the right things. And what I want to see which players teams aren't signing day after day after day. Because if there's a guy who was kind of highly rated that we had our eye on that's still sitting out there for 4, 5, 6 days, that's just going to drop that price tag down. So, like right now, you want to round out your roster, but also too, you're kind of playing a chess match between you and 31 other GMs. Okay, we got the big gun signed. Now it's like that waiting period of can we drive down the price of these guys? Can we outweight someone to pull the trigger to get the guy a little bit cheaper? so we can go spend money elsewhere. So I don't know if we're going to see a lot of moves today and tomorrow, but hopefully we can get our guys. And there's at least 5 or 6 guards. I think we can land one of them, and we'd be in a pretty good situation.
I couldn't agree more, Mike. One thing that I'm looking at this Dowdle numbers of comparing him against Kenneth Gainwell, and what I think, what I think is going on, because he had so many yards. They keep saying, "Oh, he had 1,000 yards the past 2 seasons." What I'm thinking is this: as I'm looking at these numbers, Mike, he was the guy. He was their back in Carolina, and he wasn't splitting that time like Kenneth Gainwell, because the numbers are basically split in half. From what Dowdle was doing in Carolina. So that's something that people have to consider as well. You're not going to see 1,000. You're more than likely not going to see what he was doing in Carolina, Mike, because he is splitting the time with Jalen Samuel. Let's take a look at his
Jalen Warren.
Yeah, Jalen Warren. Let's take a look at the numbers, Mike. This is 34 games for Kenneth Gainwell. 34 games for Kenneth Gainwell played, and then 33 games for Rico Dowdle, of course, Mike. Let's see. Rushing attempts over that period of time. 471 for Dowdle, 189 for Kenneth Gainwell. So he certainly was the workhorse. Certainly explains why he had so much success running the ball. Because again, it doesn't look like he had much help, because we do play runner by committee. And that's just the way that plays out, Mike. Let's look at the yards as well. In those same period of time, 33 games for Rico, 34 games for Gainwell. Mike, rushing yards, 2155 for Rico, 827 for Kenny Gainwell. Again, Gainwell, one more game played than Rico, and his numbers just tower above. So I think that's what it is. People are really excited because they're looking at these numbers. But again, he will be sharing time with Jalen Warren, and these numbers, Mike, will certainly go down a little bit. But as I'm looking as well, he can catch the ball too. Gainwell has 89 catches. Rico has 78. Gainwell has 602 receiving yards. Rico has 546. As far as receiving touchdowns, Rico has more with 4. Gainwell has 3. And also Rico returns kicks as well, Mike. So a lot of things that I think that's jumping off the page about Rico certainly has to do with him being the premier back in Carolina the past couple of seasons. And again, I'm not saying that makes him any worse or any better off than Kenneth Gainwell. I just wanted to clear that up, because a lot of times, again, Mike, I don't think people are looking at that in that aspect and saying, "Wow, yeah, you know what? Look, this is great. He's at least 3 times as good as Kenneth Gainwell." Yeah. Well, that's not the case. It's again, they were just part of a different system.
A different system, and just comparing like the stats between Dowdle and Jalen Warren. Combined, they both rushed for 2,000 yards total. If see here, Dowdle had 236 carries, Jalen Warren had 211. So I don't know if both of them are going to reach that height this year, but if they do, they can get a nice little split right there, and both of them can put up similar numbers to what they did this year.
It's going to be exactly what it's been for the past 2 years. It's not going to be anything different. You're going to get the split between
and I think we'll see Jalen Warren a whole hell of a lot more on third downs this year, just because he's so much better of a pass blocker than Dowdle is. But Dowdle's no slouch in that area either. So just because you see one out there, it's not going to key you off. Oh, this is an obvious pass play. Oh, this is an obvious run play. So they can both be used in any type of situation. But I think in those obvious pass situations, I'm looking for Jalen Warren to be there on those downs. I think he has better hands and a way better pass protector. But I like this running back room a whole hell of a lot.
I do too. I mean, again, I find it very similar to last year's and the year before, because again, at the end of the day, Najee was knocking out 1,000-yard seasons year after year behind a bad line and a terrible offense.
And then Jalen's been putting up the same consistent numbers behind the guy too. Yeah, so it's a smooth transition, and Dowdle knows this offensive system from running it. I think he ran year overlap with Mike McCarthy in Dallas. So he's familiar with the offense that they're going to run to, and that's very helpful in this situation. Plus, he's a productive player.
But with that being said, Mike, I have no disappointment, nothing. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm excited about the way they're going, because sometimes you could also fall off. You could downgrade, and we certainly didn't. So that's a plus, Mike. Let me get back on the board. A lot going on. I don't want to miss out on anybody. We have a lot to get into today. Keeping an ear open for all all and anything coming across the wire. I do know this. It's a watch that Patrick Queen is there's a handful of teams that's interested in Patrick Queen. Dallas, Philadelphia being another one, but Dallas mainly. Dallas so far pursued Mike for this on the defense. They pursued Devin Bush. They pursued Quay Walker. They pursued Tremaine Edmonds. They pursued N'Kobe Dean. They pursued a handful of people, Mike, and every one of these players went elsewhere. They all went to other teams, even going back to Cleveland. Was it Devin Bush that was going back to Cleveland?
He went to the Bears.
The Bears. Okay, that's right. So you have all these players, Mike, that Dallas is so desperately they need to bring in some players after losing Micah last year. That defense fell off so much. So Patrick Queen could be the move. Patrick Queen could be the move today, tomorrow, the next move, maybe, perhaps. And then also, Mike, we're keeping our eye on people being re-signed as Steelers that were Steelers. So much that could possibly be going on. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. There's a lot going on the board. Mike, I'm seeing fights. I'm seeing everything else. I have to find out what's going on. Vegas, I'm just going to go right on the top. It says I'm older than Aaron. So am I. No surprise. Even Mike. Mike is even older than Aaron Rodgers. Or I think that's who we're talking about. You know what? Let me get to it just in case it's not. I'm going to start back here a little bit and try to catch up.
Yeah.
Tyrone says, RB, glad you joined the gang. Tyrone, RB and Tyrone, both the man. If you would say, Cody says this, I'm still waiting for the robot girlfriend to come out and to use, then put it back in my closet. RV says, Corey, I searched for you numerous times and can't ever find it. Sometimes I have trouble too. We'll have to try to figure out what's going on with that. But once you find it, there's a plethora of videos to watch. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Let's go to Ty. I told you about 25. You know that. Somber says, try setting up audio for a dual pick setup. It's an effing nightmare for sure.
Oh, we did that back in the day with the soundboard and stuff. I wanted to kill myself.
Also, let's go to just jumping up up to the top real quick. Sorry to say what's up to Jamal. Nice seeing you, brother. Let me get back here where I see. What do I see? Tortilla. Cody is compromised. Is what Tortilla says. Also, RB says, I never said he was bad. He now the top cornerback 2 in the league. Also, Tortilla says that's the real conspiracy. RB, does the podcast even exist?
Ooh.
I like that.
Ooh.
I like it. Let's go to Cody says, Tortilla, you ready to bust a freestyle? We got bars, he's saying. Also RB is saying, for real, Tortilla, I've YouTube searched 15 times. You know what? I've had that problem too, RB. I don't know what that's about. I hope that he gets that fixed up, though. Let's check out my man, TC. What's up, dude? Always great seeing TC on the board. We're straight from Aliquippa, my man. TC, great to see you, man. Hope you're having a good off season, bro. Also, Corey says this at don't drink that. I know we bet not trade PQ after signing Holcomb, who can't stay healthy. That's true. Sommer says, oh, fuck yeah, in the Canadian accent. Tortilla says Roman Wilson better start his rap career. Corey says, now we're going to spend 2 years addressing left tackle 1 after finally addressing wide receiver 2. RB says left tackle is 10 times more important than the edge. I'm sure McCarthy knows that. Tomlin didn't. Somber says, can't wait for 30 visits. 30 visits coming up soon. Won't be long. Tyrone says, top 3 duo DB in the league. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. It's looking good. Right now, it is looking good. Chad Trader, he says this, I wouldn't mind us going out to get Bears Brisker. A lot of people's been saying that, Mike, on the board.
I wouldn't mind Jaquan Brisker. It might just be the Penn State fan of me because I loved watching him play there. I was talking to a Chop on the on our group chat, and he said he's developed into a nice playmaking safety, and that's what it looks like from afar. But I just haven't watched his pro game. But I'm willing to take him. My only hesitance towards him is he gets a lot of head owies with the concussions, and slap 5 Guardian caps on him and let's go, boys.
Yeah, that's what they got him for. Slap him on.
Slap him on. Get out there, brother. Let's go.
Also, after that, Sommer says, out of limit filter to your mic, Vanilla, that'll stop it from peaking when you raise your voice. You're over modulating.
I am over modulating. Like if I would run this back through like OBS. I would be able to do that, but I'm not running it through OBS, so I don't have the limit gain filter anymore.
All right, pull yourself together.
You know what? I'm
JPJ. JPJ is our number one corner. Dean is the number 2, is what Ty is saying. RB is saying PQ for Milton, Dallas, or McKee, Philly is a no-brainer for me. If A-Rod is done, either one of those guys are good competition for Howard and have good upside. And also, you clear up a ton of your cap, Mike. Also, this morning, I'm hearing the rumors about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is making his rounds in Pittsburgh with these rumors. I hate it. And as a matter of fact, you know it's coming though, because this happens last year and it happened the year before. And just every possible freaking name that could even be out there, Mike, is going to be thrown out there. So don't get too worried. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, but Mike, I wouldn't think that they'll bring Cousins in if, in fact, Aaron Rodgers steps away. Do you?
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope not, because it's more the same. He's less mobile than Aaron Rodgers. He was less mobile before his Achilles injury, and he came back slower than Rodgers did from his Achilles injury and does not look mobile. And this O-line, yeah, it's getting better, but there were still some question marks on that left side. I want my quarterback to be able to at least slide out of the pocket a little bit if needed. I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I have never trusted Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has never made it anywhere in the playoffs other than getting embarrassed. I don't want him. If I'm going to lose, I'd rather lose with Aaron Rodgers, someone who's been there, done that, or lose with Will Howard, someone who we're going to find out, does he have it or not? Like right now, those are my 2 options at quarterback. I do not want Kirk Cousins anywhere near this team.
Isaiah Pacheco, Mike, on the board, Steel Loyal is saying Isaiah Pacheco is on his way to the Lions. That is apparently a move.
Wow.
And you know what? Losing David Montgomery, it's not a surprise, Mike. I'm sure they wanted to replace that running back position. Yeah. And what a way to do it as players are moving. And it's this time of year. It's this time of year.
I just never seen anyone run so awkward and angry as Pacheco does.
I know. It looks like he's trying to kill people with
it. It does too. Yeah. I like it, but it's just fucking awkward to me. So,
who just went to Kansas City yesterday? Somebody that
no, the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh yeah,
Kenneth Walker III.
So no surprise there, Isaiah. Is on the move. Let me move on the board here a little bit, guys. I do want to say welcome to everybody that is coming on their way in. Cody says this Omar Khan sucks. Aaron Rodgers is worse. If we finish 9-8, we're cursed. RB says Raiders are shopping Powers Johnson again. Mike, here's your JPJ. He's versatile on the line.
Yeah, he could slide him over to left guard maybe and have him play there across from Zach Frazier, the other safety or the other center from that big draft class. Those were the 2 guys, Frazier or JPJ. If we can get them both, I'd take it. I'm willing to risk it on him. He's still young. I think with our new offensive line coaches coming in, I think that would be a good pickup.
I do want to say welcome. I want to say welcome to Royal Brown. I'm sorry, Royal Brown. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. Glad to have you here, bud. Royal says this. Here we go, Steelers. That's right, baby. Here we go, Steelers. He follows up by saying all we need is a quarterback. And you know what, Mike? We're certainly putting a nice team together for if that does happen or whatever happens. There's going to be something in place. And again, bringing in Michael Pittman and bringing in things again aren't as bad as a lot of people made it out to be. When Coach Tomlin stepped down a couple of months ago, Mike, a lot of people, this is going to be terrible. I think again, as I said from the beginning, we will land on our feet. I'll be very surprised, Mike, if this team is a total failure this year.
Me too, because the Steelers are going to do what the Steelers do, no matter who the head coach. We're going to be what, like Steeler Freak says, Rooney competitive.
Yeah,
we're going to get a quarterback out there that can be competitive, but our GM is just going to keep building and stacking a roster. So when we get the next one, we go. Because right now it sucks, but we are in that bridge quarterback era until we find someone. It sucks. You and I lived through it through the 80s and the 90s, all the way up until Big Ben. It sucks, but at least the Steelers know how to get out of it. They know how to navigate it, and that's what they're doing right now.
Absolutely. Let me jump back on the board here. RB says, sorry, bro. Jamel Dean is the number 1. Dean can play off. He could press zone. or he could press zone man and is much better tackler than Porter. I know you love Porter, but let's be realistic. Porter can play press man, and that's it. Corey, don't drink that says I say see if he's a good fit for the team this year, and if not, trade him before the trade deadline. Get rid of him. Mike, and I don't know if I missed it. I saw it on here, but also at one point Somber did say about Patrick Queen being, the leader in missed tackles last year. Again, also something we want to consider as we're talking about that linebacker position, as we were just a few moments ago. I don't know how I missed it. I seen it coming, and for some reason I didn't get it, and I'm past it now. I apologize. Let me go to Cody. Cody says we signed Cole, little hole. If we don't get a quarterback, we're never going to win a Super Bowl. We got Edgar
If
Allan
you don't pay
Cody
their
today.
tools, we don't eat no rolls.
Tyrone, JPJ about to get the bag. He clearly is number one. LOL, he's saying. Not even a debate. Let's go back to RB. RB is going to say this. In return, he's going to say Dean got the bag first. Why? Because it's telling Porter this is around what you're getting no more. It's painfully obvious. This was a message to Porter. Let's see. Let me jump right here. RB follows it up by saying you can love them all you want, but man is a press man corner with no ball skills and very iffy tackling. His zone is weak. His off coverage is less than desirable. Dean is much more complete cornerback. Tyrone says this, buddy Porter getting around 25, 28 million. You think JPJ is getting 12 million a year? Funny on that. Also, RB, man, who would have thought? Who would have thought bringing Jamel Dean in here would get people get people sparked up and going at it? But here we go. Also, RB follows it up by saying you got some kind of man crush that's making you delirious. Porter is the best press man cover cornerback in the league. He's very lackluster and everything else. You aren't getting 20 million for being a pure press man cornerback, he's saying. Let's see also what else is going on. Iowanapia, Mike. Iowanapia is what John, my man, Big John Stud, middle name Mud, all the way from Las Vegas is saying. He says, Iowanapia. We signed him as well back. Squeege, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Squeege TV. Squeak, is it Squeege? Squeege or Squeak? Because just asking if it looks like Squeege. It looks like G.
I'm going to Squeege because that's what you went with, and you are the expert at pronouncing names.
I am the expert at pronouncing names, but you were calling him Squeak, and I'm looking at it. I thought there was a Q at the end, but there's not, so it looks to be Squeege.
Well, I don't know. I'm just happy he's back.
Me too. Let's move on.
The more the merrier, brother.
RB says this, Mike. He says he's 100% pure man press with bad tackling, no ball skills. This is where the guys start to get into it. Tyrone says you don't know ball man. I'm okay. I'm gonna spare you since you cool, but everyone knows he's getting around 25 million or more, but you. The guys are ready. They're you know what? It's not even been 24 hours, Mike, since we've got all of our new pickups and everybody's ready. And I love it because the competitive nature of Steeler Nation, it's a thing, baby. Everybody's ready. Everybody's ready to play right now. Everybody's ready for a game right now, Mike. I don't care what anybody says. Let's go ahead and see what's going on up here.
I love how you just do that right in the camera, or right in the microphone.
And the thing is, I don't even know what's coming.
Like you just do it, and I drop a pen, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's so annoying."
Well, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump over to my other board. If there was anything I missed between then and now, I'm going to apologize. But once we had that little glitch, Mike, it brought me back off my board, so I'm coming back here, so I'm not stretching clear across the console. You know what? And it's plenty fine. Let me find where I'm at. Squeege says this. I think this is where we be. Squeege says, I work 7 to 5, so it's hard to catch the stream. I'm on break, though. Excited to hear your takes on day one. You know what? It was an exciting day one. A lot to talk about today. Tyrone says he actually tackles better now. Shaking my head. You got to do better, man. It's okay. Dean is a perfect number 2. These two. And you know, at the end of the day, I'm happy. I know number 2. And whoever's number 2, if something ain't working, I prefer the other person to get on, and maybe they'll work. At the end of the day, Mike, it's almost like do you have to call them 1 and 2? They are your 1 and 2 corners, but for the sake of keeping everybody from fighting, I just think Mike,
You're 1 and 1A.
1 and 1A. Let's go with that. Let's go
But
to.
doesn't that automatically make whoever's number 1 above 1A?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does it?
To me, it does, because they always these are my 1 and 1A, but they always have the 1 here and the 1A here. Like that's the same.
RB says, I don't know ball, laugh my ass off. Okay, man, sorry, you can't be realistic because you're in love with another man. Squeed says, Leo Chanel would be interesting if the price is right. Oto me whoa. Somber, my man. Also, RB says Chanel is a great fit here. Thumper who can run. What's up, dude? Dude, back on the board. How's it going? Great seeing you back on the terrible board. Dude, everybody. Tyrone says you're gay. You're gay. And 2, you're going to tell me be realistic, but say JPJ can't tackle or get 12 million. The guy's still going at it. RB says this, with the Finns bringing in GM and staff from Green Bay, then getting Willis, making it pretty obvious they are going to now overpay Dobbs. Squeech says, good John. Vegas says, what's good, fellas? Always great seeing Vegas from Vegas. Aaron J, there he is, Mike. There he is. There it is. There's the message.
There it is. The message of the day. The one that makes you the most happy.
I'm very happy. Squeege, what's up? Vegas. Cody says, which players no one is signing? We got Jalen Warren. He looks Hawaiian. With this, I like the rhyme, and this is the bars, though. He said he had bars, Mike. And
they got bars today, man. I'm loving it.
You know what, Kenneth? I agree with you, brother. Welcome. I want to say welcome to Kenneth Jones on the terrible board. He says we hit a home run 3 times yesterday. I again very happy with the way yesterday went, Mike. And if we can continue on that path again, maybe get that veteran somebody for the left side of that offensive line over these next few days or soon. That would be even better, because then again, you go into the draft having those particular positions filled. Does that mean you're not going to get people to back them up, Mike, people to play right behind them? Again, we need to fill this wide receiver room up. Yep. So at the end of the day, very, very important. I'm not saying that we're not going to dip more into those positions, but as of right now, this was a pretty damn good start, Mike, into the offseason, getting some of them keys, certainly wide receiver too, replacing Kenneth Gainwell, and then also the cornerback, Mike, that we did pick up, I think should make people very happy.
Oh, it should be very happy. And right now, even no matter like who they sign in free agency, that first round, they can still go multiple directions. You can still go wide receiver, because you still need to finish out that receiver room. And these guys are only signed through 2029, 2030. So you're going to need a young crop of receivers there. And you want someone to in place in case someone gets hurt, or DK, brain snaps again and beats up 15 people. Yeah. You want someone there. That's why, you still look, if he falls Mekhi Lemon, if he's sitting there, Omar Cooper Jr. in the first round, get a first round talent in that wide receiver room, because he's going to be on a rookie contract. He's not going to break the bank. And by the time their contract comes due, guess who's off the books? Alec Pierce and DK Metcalf contracts are off the books, and you can just roll their salary into that player, and you keep that offense moving right along. So go wide receiver in the first round if you have to. If the guy's there, don't stop adding to this offense. Let's go. Instead of trying to find guys in the later rounds that can be eventual offensive weapons, get them early, and because you never know who this quarterback's going to be. If it's not Aaron Rodgers, it might be a Tyson Baguette. It might be a Tanner McGee. It might be a Will Howard. Go out and get them a shit ton of weapons. Protect them. Make their job a whole hell of a hell. Even if it is Aaron Rodgers, make his job a whole hell of a lot easier by continuing to add weapons on the offensive side of the ball.
One person we know it's not going to be, Mike. We know it's not going to be Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, Mike, is on his way to Carolina on a 1-year 5.7. I got to be honest with you. He's making a nice little career for himself. Without being a football player at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's been on 5 teams in 5 years, and he's, again, $5.7 million. I would do what he does for $5.7 million in a heartbeat.
Me
and
too.
collect
Me
your
too.
Super Bowl ring. Stand out, hang out with the guys on the sideline. Do your thing. Hang out at practice.
Right.
Throw the football around. At the end of the day, Mike Gay making another $5.7 million this coming year is Kenny Pickett.
Be a modern day McCoy brother. You just bounce around from team to team, collecting paychecks. Eventually, you'll be a third string quarterback. Then eventually, you'll be out of the NFL. But make as much money as you can being that back number 2, number 3 quarterback, man. That's the way to do it.
But one thing that I do want to talk about, Mike, briefly is look at the skill positions on offense. This is how it's starting to look. You have, of course, Rico Dwaddle. You have Jalen Warren as in your running back in your backfield right now. You have DK Metcalf, Michael Pittman Jr. It's your wides, and Mike Muth and Washington at tight end. It's starting to look like a nice offense. So again, if you get that left hand side of the line addressed, and then again, depending on what goes down with quarterback, Mike, this offense potentially could be more potent than it was last year. I think already you fixed the wide receiver room. You don't want to stop by any means. Maybe,
No.
and again, maybe they're going to go after, the wide receiver they wanted in the first round anyway, just to really strengthen that wide receiver room early in the draft in the first round. So again, off to a beautiful start. I'm going to be honest. If they were going to continue to stay competitive and to kind of keep where they were and maybe shoot for trying to get a win in the playoffs, they're making all the right moves, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're making any lazy moves. It seems like everything that they're making is very calculated to put into place so this team can continue to play good football. Again, we won the division. Say what you want. Say what you want. Say what you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We did go 10-7. I don't care about the Ravens. I don't care about the Browns. I don't care about the Bengals. At the end of the day, we beat who we had to beat to be 10-7 and win the division and make the playoffs. So again, I think we could hit the ground running, especially the way things are being handled, Mike, in these positions are being filled with this new coaching staff. I don't see any reason why we couldn't hit the ground running.
I don't either. And yeah, other teams in our division in the conference are getting better, but so
Mike,
are
two
we.
of them are from Ohio. You don't count those two teams. I haven't counted
Exactly.
those two teams since the 80s.
I know,
Nor
right?
should you.
Yeah, but we are keeping up with the Joneses, if not getting ahead of them. And looking at some of the wide receivers that are out there, like Juwan Jennings, Debo Samuels, Tyreek Hill, I think those are all no's. Romeo Dobbs.
Mike, who fits in as a good number 3 for us? Let me ask you this. If DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman Jr. are going to be 1 and 2, let's just say Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin are going to be 4 and 5. Who would be a nice 3 for you on this team? Did you see if people that are available?
Jalen Tolbert, Christian Kirk, maybe on that level of production. That might be it right now off the top of my head. Just going through a look at these guys. At one point, I would have said John Mitchie. I thought he had potential coming out of college, but he's never lived up to the hype. And he's a free agent. He's bounced around from like the Texans and the Jets. But those two right there, the two that really click into my head is Kirk and Tolbert. But I'd lean towards Tolbert more because I think he had that role in Dallas. I think there's familiarity. I think he overlapped too with Mike McCarthy. There might be some familiarity there. He would be a cheap pickup. And again, that would not preclude you from drafting 1 or 2 wide receivers in the draft if you get someone like a Tolbert.
Yeah. And that's, that's going to be the next key question, Mike. But again, what do we do in the draft? Maybe we do go get one of these because it's a great draft for receivers. So even if we don't, go early or even, trade up or a lot of these speculations, even if we get something at 21 or Mike, even in the second round, I still think you're going to get a top of the line receiver. There's so much talent at wide receiver coming out of college this year. So again, that's more than likely going to play into all that as well as you're putting that wide receiver room together. You're going to run it 6 receivers. You're going to go more. Who knows? But if you're looking at a top 5, this is what I'm basically seeing. Like the top 2, of course, Metcalf, Pittman. Right now, unless anything happens with Calvin Austin and Roman, and I don't think there's any question, Mike, that we're going to be drafting a wide receiver, and not for any other reason besides DK Metcalf isn't young. He's on it, has a nice 3-year contract here. Pittman's not exactly young either. By the time his contract's up in a few years, so would be very surprised if they don't grab that wide receiver.
Yeah, because like I said, man, if one of those big guys is there at 21, snatch him up because by the time he's hitting his prime, those two are going to be out the door. And so, awesome, cool. We got our bona fide number 1 who has learned under 2 guys that know how to do it at a high level. And you think in the Mike McCarthy offense that this guy would be putting up some numbers too, will have confidence. Go ahead and do it, man. If it makes sense, obviously, but I none of these moves preclude us from taking a wide receiver in the first round
I agree.
or the second round. There's going to be someone there in those top 3 rounds that you got to get. Even if they draft 2 guys in the third round, I think that would be a good play right there.
I'm going to jump back on the board. Let's get back into some of this fight, if you will. Again, 0 arguments. This is from RB. Again, 0 arguments because you can't form one. You just name call people and then start talking in some sort of broken English because you cannot form a real argument to say anything. Of course, the guy's going at it a little bit squeegee. It really is. He says, Kenneth Jones says Rico is more explosive than Gainwell, and they will split time, which will preserve them both. Squeegee says this, I'm ready for more news. I know there's not a lot going on.
There's not. The biggest breaking news is kicker Zane Gonzalez signs with the Dolphins.
There you go, Zane. Cody, Zane Gonzalez. You know him?
Where's the music?
I know. I wish that I had it. I don't, unfortunately, on me, or I don't have it prepared. RB says because you have 0 idea of what you're talking about, and Porter's sack is covering your eyeballs. JPJ is the goat. Tortilla saying on the board. Cody says Dowdle and Dak, Gainwell and Rodgers. Aaron is old enough to be most of our grandfathers. Kieran Murphy, I do want to say welcome to the show. She said, who is going to be our quarterback? Mike, that is a good question right now. Kieran, listen, if I'm a gambling man, I'm saying I think it's Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers will be back. Again, Mike, they're attacking free agency in a way that I could see them bringing Aaron Rodgers back.
Me too. And it's either going to be Aaron Rodgers or some backup quarterback from another team that we trade for that has a competition with Will Howard. I think that might be the route that they go. Those are their 2 options right now. Because I think Kyler Murray's going to end up signing with the Vikings. Because I think he's waiting till tomorrow when the league year starts, when he's officially released to go to meet with Minnesota. That's the scuttlebutt that I'm hearing. And I think that really only leaves people like Baguette and Tanner McGee. There's Jimmy Garoppolo out there, but I don't think we're going to be that desperate. So I think it's going to be Will Howard and a number 2 from another team that competes together, or Aaron Rodgers.
I think at the end of the day, it's Aaron. And here's another thing, Mike. I do think that we know. I think that the team knows because a couple of reasons. I mean, here we are. We're in free agency. We don't have a quarterback. I think that this would be a very stressful situation if you truly had no idea what was going on, what was coming down the pike. I think maybe, and for whatever reason, it's just the way that Aaron Rodgers operates at this point in his life. And maybe he's done it for a long time. I don't know. But it seems to me, if I'm a gambling man at this point, I'm putting my money on that Aaron Rodgers will be back for one more season. Maybe, Mike, just to kind of get this new team together. And also with the draft coming next year with all the quarterbacks, it's not going to fix anything immediately. But again, that could be the next step. And maybe Will Howard could be something in the middle between Aaron Rodgers and the young quarterback, perhaps. Who knows? But again, if I'm betting, Mike, and I don't gamble, but if I did, I would be putting my money on Aaron Rodgers as coming back for another season.
Same here. It's not who I want because I don't even know who I really want. But knowing the Steelers and their wanting to remain competitive and relevant, that's the most obvious choice would be them wanting to bring back Aaron Rodgers for one more year, let Will Howard develop for another year.
Well, let's go to Tyrone. Tyrone says, buddy, he's the defensive DB1. LOL. That's all I need to say about everybody. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to be 1-2, 2-1. And again, if there's struggles, if one guy's struggling, I can see switching around. I can see. So at the end of the day, I think it's a fun fight that's going on, Mike, on the board between RB and Ty. I just know that Ty does have his he loves Joey Porter Jr. So it's no surprise that these two are going at it like this.
No, it's not.
Squeech says, guys, like the video. Vegas says, I'm older than Aaron. Squeech says, 42 people in here, 10 likes. Thanks, Squeech. We appreciate you, sir. Still Loyal says, both the Eagles and Cowboys have inquired. Yes, the Eagles and the Cowboys have, and also Still Loyal. A handful of guys that the Dallas Cowboys pursued already. Decided not to go to Dallas. Devin Bush, Quay Walker, N'Kobe Dean, Tremaine Edmonds, all these people were being pursued at the linebacker position by the Cowboys. All of them decided to take jobs elsewhere. So it's going to be interesting. We don't know what's going to go down with Patrick Queen. A lot of and that's another thing, Mike. It's going to be another hole. But on the other hand, he led the league in missed tackles. So would you let's get this guy down the road and start working on something new, or are we just kind of too far into a hole right now with all the other needs at other positions? Of course, we still need the left-hand side of the offensive line. We're looking safety. We're looking defensive tackle. We don't have a quarterback. So there was a lot that was accomplished yesterday, Mike. However, that there's still a lot that remains, and that could just open a whole nother hole. We weren't thrilled with the inside linebacker room to begin with. Where does the inside linebacker room go, Mike? Does Patrick Queen ultimately leave this offseason?
If they do, there are options out there. I was looking them up. I figures I lost it. I thought we were done with that conversation. My bad. But there's guys in the draft too. There's the big bastard out of Georgia. Hold on, I have it right here. Oh my goodness! I see you threw a curveball on me. CJ Allen. He's an inside backer. If you would move from Queen, you might hope he falls to you. I think he would fit in really well with this defense. From the limited amount of highlights I was watching from him yesterday. There's a couple other ones like Jacob Rodriguez. I know the guys are high on from Texas Tech. So there's options there. There's options in free agency. Dude, I mean, if they can trade him, because I know Philly needs linebackers because they lost some guys from in free agency. Patrick Queen for Jalen Carter.
Yes.
Do you think like both teams would want to do that? You know,
what's Philadelphia's problem with Jalen Carter?
The maturity and he really hasn't developed as a run stopper.
All right,
but that's kind of what we need on our line. But we also need someone who can rush the quarterback too. So, I don't know. He has not lived up to the hype coming out of college. Maybe a change of scenery would help. And if you can get, if you want to move on from Patrick Queen and they make this trade straight up, give it a try, and then you go out and replace Queen in free agency and in the draft. So
I do. It's Mike.
Give it a try, man. Give it a try. Why not? Fuck it.
We are an hour in. I do want to just go over a few things that we did go over near the beginning of the show. If you're just joining or you joined a little later, guys, the compensatory picks were announced and set. The Steelers do have their 12 picks, Mike, overall. The compensatory picks. I'm going to give you the 4 compensatory picks. Round 3, pick number 99. That gives us 5 draft picks in the top 100. That's pretty good, guys. You could get a lot of talent in that crop. Also, pick 135 in round 4, pick 214 in round 6, and then also pick 216 in round 6. So that is a total, guys. 1 pick in round 1, 1 pick in round 2, 3 picks in round 3. Again, Mike, that's that's a nice spot to have extra picks. Round 4, they have 2 picks. 5th round, 1 pick. 6th round, 2 picks. Round 7, Mike, they have 2 picks, all going down in just 44 days right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when the draft comes to town. Expecting over 700,000 people to come to town for this event, Mike, the biggest sporting event in Pittsburgh history. No two ways about that. So a lot of talk, not a lot going on today. Again, that's expected. Day 1 is when you see a lot of faces and names moving. It's probably going to be later on when you're, changing the roll of toilet paper. You're going to get a notification on your phone and you're going to see something. But today, not a big surprise that it's not as busy, but that doesn't mean the minds aren't working behind closed doors. Again, Patrick Queen could very well be on a move. Dallas certainly pursuing him after their attempts of many linebackers failed. Also, Mike, this offensive, the left guard position after Ciamalu splits, he heads to Arizona. So we're trying to fill that hole. So, with the official free agency starting tomorrow at 4:00, Mike, it's not even officially free agent season. It's not even officially the new NFL year. That still comes, Mike, in over 24 hours, about 27 hours from now tomorrow. So I'd certainly keep my eye on everything throughout the day. But again, I wouldn't expect what you seen yesterday. That is when it really happens. And again, Mike, we are still working on things. There are moves that can happen.
Yeah.
Like Adam Schefter says this. He says the Steelers. He says the Steelers seem to be prepared to turn to Howard if Aaron Rodgers retires. He didn't go on to say, but Dan Graziano says this: the Steelers are operating like a team who knows who the quarterback will be. So these couple comments, and again, Chef, does those comments do anything to you?
A little bit. They're dialed in with the league, but they're also really dialed in with agents. And could this be Aaron Rodgers' agent saying, "Hey, push this story. I want to get feelers out from other teams"? And could this be from Will Howard's agent saying, "Hey, put this stuff out here. I want to get my guy's name out there and put a little pressure on the Steelers. Say, hey, people are kind of talking about him. Should kind of force their hand." Anything they can do, to try and influence anything. I wonder just how much a lot of this is coming from the agents wanting to get shit out there.
Very
So
possible.
so I kind of take their stuff with a grain of salt because they are dialed in, but they're with the league and the agents. So I it's tough to say, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers want to go with Will Howard. Mike McCarthy talked a lot about what he likes or what he's seen from him on film and stuff. So it could be the route that they go. And like we keep saying on the show, that's not a bad thing. It's either going to work well or it's not going to work well. And both of them, guess what, benefit the team in the long run.
I agree.
You either find out if he has it, great. If he doesn't have it, great. Guess what? Now we know what we need. We really need to focus on a quarterback. And if it doesn't go well, we might have a better draft pick to get a quarterback next year. So it's a win-win situation.
And I'm finally glad you're starting to see the light here, because that was my argument from day one. And
I know, but I also fall back on my own personal thing is I want to see my team win as many games as they can, but at the same time, I know
nobody
what's best for the team.
says I want to do these moves because I want my team to be so bad.
I know, but I can't sit there through. I hated.
Well, you haven't had to do it in 30 some, or I think you're going to be fine. Listen, if something happens, I think you're going to be fine. Along with Steeler Nation, and this is what a lot of the problem is, Mike. People don't, they're afraid to fall below that Mason-Dixon line. They're afraid to not have a winning season. That, in my mind, is crazy. Come on, maybe we are spoiled. Maybe when people call us spoiled, we go, "We're not so spoiled." Maybe we are spoiled, because at the end of the day, we still make those arguments. And again, I think ultimately what you came down to at the end, it's going to be beneficial for the team, whether it works or whether it doesn't work. And ultimately, I think that's what we need to have going on with Will Howard.
Yeah, and I don't. You're going to talk me into it, then I'm going to talk myself out of it. You know how I get when it comes to Will Howard.
Also,
Fucking
guys, I do
Ohio
want to say
State.
this. If you are coming into town for the draft, or you already are in town, fans can get on right now to register for free entry to the 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh by downloading NFL One Pass app or visiting NFL.com/draft access. Again, that is by downloading the NFL One Pass app or visiting NFL.com/draft access. Get on. Do that. Get your free registration, especially if you're coming from out of town. You don't want to have any issues when you get here, guys. Let me jump back on the board. Glad to see everybody today. Welcome to the show. Matter of fact, Mike, why don't you throw up a poll? Throw up a poll to see who people think is going to be the quarterback this year. Is it going to be Will Howard? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to be Kirk Cousins, Mike, Joe Flacco, perhaps Mason Rudolph? Put together a poll, throw it up, see what people are thinking, what they're saying. I want to know, because the question was asked here by Kira, and Mike, I'm kind of curious what everybody else is expecting at the quarterback position. As Mike does that, I'm going to jump back on the terrible board for just a moment here and get caught up. I'm going to try to get caught up. I'm no promises. I apologize, but let me move forward here. Let's go to, and I also do want to say, just referring back to Steel Oils, both Eagles and Cowboys have inquired about PK. What I'm hearing right now, Mike, is the Cowboys are trying to get him for a fifth round draft pick is what they're talking about as far as when they tried to obtain Patrick Queen. Let's go to right about here. My man Jamal says this. Have no fear. That boy Maul is here. My man Gang. Always great seeing you, brother. Hope you are doing good. Hit the like, Squeegee. We thank you, sir. Also, Black Magic Jamal says, I don't think they make robot trainings for Cody. Not yet, at least. Give it time, I'm sure. Who knows what the hell we'll have. Also, Ty says this, but I'm over talking about this. Let's talk about who we got. Absolutely, my man. Jamal, see Steeler Freak John. I wonder why they didn't sign Willis for 2 years and still drafted a quarterback next year. There you go. Mike does have the poll up there. Throw up your opinion, Mike. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers or everybody on the poll Mike put up? Throw up your opinion, everyone. Is it going to be Rodgers? Is it going to be Will Howard? Is it going to be Mason Rudolph? Is it going to be somebody else? Throw your vote up on the poll. And you get a chance. I'm curious to see what Steeler Nation, Mike, ultimately believes is going to happen this year. Again, all these other pieces being put into place. Michael Pittman Jr., Rico Dowdle, Mike. Things are happening for the Steelers. Who's going to be the quarterback that facilitates to all these different talented players coming in? Tyrone says Omar Cook got Pittman for a 6th and a 7th and got 7th back. Dean cheap, DB2 money, and Rico was cheaper than Gainwell. Omar is cooking, baby. Omar is cooking. Steel Loyal says Isaiah Pacheco. He's on his way to the Lions. I'm going to say Steel Loyal. Didn't expect that. Georgiana. Hey, great seeing Georgiana on the terrible board, Mike. She says Ryan and Vanilla. She says, please no Kirk Cousins.
Exactly. I am right there with you.
Is it his possum face, maybe?
It's everything about him.
Somber says, just saw that. Wow. Steel Loyal K9. Yeah, Walker. That's what I was asking. Who went to Kansas City? Thank you, sir. Also, Steeler Freak John says this. Pacheco hasn't been the same since his knee injury. Those angry runs caught up with him. Boy, and they're angry. Them elbows, them knees, everything.
It's the whole body going.
Steel Loyal says off season got people's brains in a frenzy. Laugh my ass off. Sledge Martin, I do want to say thank you guys for James Pierre. Apparently, we got a Minnesota Vikings fan. I do want to say no problem. I hope that he does well for you, Sledge. He certainly worked his way up the ladder here, and he was looking good last year. Hopefully, he does good for you.
Hopefully, he doesn't regress.
Steel Loyal says y'all better treat Pierre LePew good. Steel Loyal says y'all got a good one. Yeah, he sure did. And it's Lamar Jackson's cousin, if that means anything to you. Tyrone says Pierre, y'all do well with him. Somber says Ryan about to read the entire. You know what I was trying to. It was getting juicy for a while there. I planned on it. Steel Loyal says I'm here for it. Squeegee says I'm hoping Asante Samuel Jr. steps up. Would love to see two sons of former NFL legends perform well, especially for the Steelers. Do we have a bunch of juniors or what? Every time I turn around, it seems like there's a new junior. Who's the D that was here last year, like for 5 seconds, Mike? He was a junior.
I can't remember. I know who you're talking about because it was another Joey Porter. Or was it the other Joey Porter Jr.?
Yeah.
The other Joey Porter who wasn't a junior but was a son of someone, I think. I can't remember. It was something weird.
I don't think it was. Let us know on the board. You guys probably will be able to think of it. I know somebody will. Who was the other junior? It was somebody's son. It was in our secondary that ended up being cut before the season started, I think. He certainly didn't make it through the season. I know that. Joey Goat says, Tortilla, don't drink that. Corey says, I hate the first and second string titles. Why can't we just be happy with having great players without those labels and pay them according to their production, not their title? Makes more sense. Squeegee said it sounds like Squeege. Got it. Squeege. That answers. That helps a lot. Thank you, Squeege. Let's see. Steel Loyal. I love Ryan's reaction to arguments in chat. Let's go to Cody. Cody says, oh yeah, we got a new system. It's too bad our stadium is rated like a prison. Toilets with no doors, sandy grass. Boswell tripped on his ass. But you know what? The Bermuda Bluegrass, Mike, the Bermuda Bluegrass will be in place this year.
Is our new groundskeeper Bill Murray from Caddyshack? Got a little sarsaparilla with a little Kentucky Bluegrass?
I think.
I don't know. Like every time you talk about the Kentucky Bluegrass turf, all I can think of is Caddyshack.
I never seen it. Let me move on the board.
Jesus, you haven't seen like 1,000 movies that we've all saw growing up.
More than likely, you're probably right. Tyrone says Mike Face says it all. Mark Malone, shedding the Tomlin albatross is the best thing had to happen to this team since we drafted Big Ben. Steel Loyal says we got 2 cornerback ones. At the end of the day, you know what? You're right. We do have 2 cornerback ones. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean,
Brandon Eccles and Asante Samuel Jr. are corners 1 and 2.
Ty says Joe Hayden said DK ain't no wide receiver when he did say that. We talked about that briefly yesterday. Also, Ty says facts. We got 2 DB1s. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's the thing. I thought the argument was funny because at the end of the day, I'm happy with either one of these guys being the DB1 and DB2. So as long as it works out. Joe Hayden trying to light a fire under DK's ass, more than likely still. Also, John says Squeege TV. I think it referenced to the tool used to clean windows or the squeegee. John is saying. Let's go to Steel Loyal where it says you don't like JPJ, you're gay bars. Also, John Steeler Freak says this. Jalen Warren always looks stoned. Let's go to Tortilla. Tortilla says Tyrone versus running back, or Tyrone versus RB. Gang, better not sign a DB. I think that's what's going on in that message. Steel Loyal says, you remember that clan tag at Somber? Jamal says had to switch chats. Let's go to Somber. I don't. I was a COD kid. Loyal says, that means Kenny is going to live in my state. Oh, shit. Kenny's on his way to Carolina, man. Where's he going to be next year?
I know, right? He's going to – I wonder how many teams he's going to end up playing for.
He's off to a good start. He's trying to break Ryan Fitzpatrick or whoever the hell has that record. He's trying to beat it.
Fitzmagic. I think it is Fitzmagic.
5 for 5. 5 for 5. Steeler Freak says this. If they think they need O-line help, I believe them. Tyrone says, Mike, I'm all in on Vega, even trading up. I don't care. A lot of people saying that, Mike. A lot of Vega talk.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning towards is Vega from Penn State. Like this time it was later in the draft process. It was when I really started to hone in on Derek Harmon, and it worked out. Hopefully, I can go 2 for 2 on the big bastards.
All right, let's go to John. What's up, dude? He says this. Dude says you'd probably be better than Kenny. Let's scoot up a little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to make some headway. I think I'm making some headway, Mike. Trying to get caught back up on the board. Steel Loyal says, no, it's a dude getting some head. LOL. Look closely. Somber says, I mean the clan. What type of clan was it? LOL. Let's scoot up here. Somber. I'm sorry, Steel Loyal. Not a clan, just a funny clan tag trick we all used to do.
God, but you guys are old. Talking about your clan tags in video games.
Tyrone says, guys, what position you want today? I'm all in on the offensive guard. I'm all in on the left guard is where I'm at, whether it be today, whether it be tomorrow, whether it be Friday, whatever it is. Mike, I really think that the left guard is priority right now.
Excuse me. I am right there with you, my friend. That's the position I want. Get it out of the way. Like I said, I really do want Vega in the draft, but if we can plug this hole right here, that opens up so much flexibility in the draft in the first round. Then, because I think to get him, we would have to trade up because I think he's one of the better or it might be the best interior offensive lineman. If a team ahead of us wants to strengthen their line, if they're smart, that's what they would do. But if we can get a veteran right now for a couple of years, I'm all for it. And then, maybe take left tackle again in the first round.
You know what? I don't know if you're going to do it in the first, but at the end of the day, it certainly would follow suit, Mike.
It's a position like quarterback. You have to have. Like you got to have that position, but kind of like quarterback, they're hard to find like that high-end left tackle. And if you can find an above-average serviceable left tackle, you can survive in today's NFL with that.
Let's also, Mike, go here to the kickers are moving right now is what the guys are saying. Today seems to be kicker day. Kickers getting moved around the league.
Kamini became the highest paid kicker in the NFL.
Zane Gonzalez for the Dolphins. Mark Malone, my man, what's up? Always great seeing the great Mark Malone on the terrible board. Mark Malone says this Carson Beck could be found, could be the guy in the later rounds. I know
I don't want that sloth looking.
everybody has their reservations, but at the end of the day, he's been in like 15 national championships in his college career. But let's move forward. Get 2 out of this class. Kenneth Jones, my man. Kenneth also still loyal. Carson Beck don't even like football. Mark Maloney's got to look at determination. He's got to look at something. Looks like he has the heaviest eyebrows I've ever seen in my life.
Well, you know, like with his eyes go in 2 different directions, he can see our signals coming in and the defensive signals.
That's what we need.
So he's good.
Like we need a fish-eyed fool back there. We need somebody to be able to see the DBs on the right, the DBs on the left. Come on,
get him a big pair of glasses too, like the Coke bottle thick ones, so his eyes are like really big. And
Mike, everything that comes up the middle, he wouldn't see though. He'd be getting sacked up the middle all day.
Hey, that's where our if we get a left guard, man, our interior section of that O line is strong. He would be safe.
Steel Loyal said this is like the Days of Our Lives episode with commercials. Laugh my ass off. This is like the Days of Our Life episode. Ty says this Loyal, I don't stand down. I'm all gas, no brakes. My man Ty. Corey, don't drink that. So we got a running back and a wide receivers. Is it safe to say we focus on left tackle in the draft, as Mike is saying, or do we take a swing on whichever quarterback is left on the board? I don't think that we should act so desperately for quarterback in this draft, Mike and Corey. I really don't think, because at the end of the day, it seems to me that it's crazy to not have any idea on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Maybe he still is battling back and forth, but at the end of the day, Mike, we read it last week that a lot of people in the Steelers organizations are consistently still communing with Aaron Rodgers on a day-to-day basis. So to think that they don't know anything, I think is insane. So again, guys, do hit that poll though when you come in. Who do you think the Steelers quarterback is going to be? But to answer your question, left tackle is huge. Whatever we do, whether it be Dylan Cook, whether it be Wade out Broderick, whether it be hit the position in the draft, whether it might maybe they might grab something this week in free agency. We don't know, but very, very important. We certainly have to tackle the left tackle position. As Mike said, quarterback, left tackle, cornerback. There's some positions that you just got to have top talent people. You have to. You have to.
Yeah, and if you don't, man, you're hanging your franchise quarterback out to dry if you don't have an above average left tackle.
Let's go. Absolutely. Let's go to Kenneth. He says we obviously have more faith in Howard than people think. Still Loyal says Carson Beck always looks like he just got done sneezing.
That right there needs to go in his draft profile.
That needs to go. That's a Mike. That is a game.
That's
ball.
A game ball right there. I don't care. We hand it out now. We can find more game balls to hand out, but that is great. I want that in there under how well can he process blah blah blah, and looks like he just sneezed. That's got to be in there. I don't know if it goes under the pros or the cons, but it's going in that scouting profile.
Somber Howard Baggett Mills battle. Also, Cody says Jimmy G went to the Cardinals. Jimmy G, Mike, making his rounds.
I thought Gardner Minshew went to the Cardinals.
Maybe Jimmy G's happy with being a backup. I don't know. That's what Cody said on the board. I'm just going to move forward. Cody says Cardinals have Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett, and Gardner Minshew is what he is saying on the board. End of days. What's up? Hey, what's going on? Always great seeing End of days. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the terrible board. No more Rodgers. He sucks ass. Let's see. Food Fight Tortilla says, Jen, what's going on, Jen? Always great seeing Jen on the terrible board. She says, hello. Welcome to the board, Jen. Always great seeing you. Steel Loyal says that's got to change. Tyrone, when are we going to extend guys? It's happening. And again, a few guys yesterday, 3, I think, yesterday. It's going to continue to happen throughout. And we're going to see a lot more happening once this free agency does kick off officially. These big, high-profile moves are generally early in the week, and then we'll start to see the rest of it play out.
Yeah, I think right now what they're going to do, they're going to sign the outside free agents, and then once they get that done, go into restructure mode, and then
you got to see where your money's sitting after you get the guys that you want to go out and get.
Yeah, to flesh out your roster, because they probably kind of have an idea of how much they want to spend for all their guys that they're looking to extend. And,
Miami Fairbairn is the highest paid
Yeah.
kicker in the league, is what Steele
Yeah.
says. Of course, in Houston, Steele Loyal says that has to change. That's got to change. Tyrone says, when are we going to start extending guys? Steele Loyal Fairbairn got 2 years, $13 million. Also, RB says Galladay from Cincinnati is good. Cody, some people think that Allen is better than Styles. Also, RB says Jalen Carter is late, and the thing is, I know he's a head case, and I know this. He's just such a monster. I love watching him. He's just a freak of nature person with this strength. It's insane. And believe me, I get it. And I'll eventually hate it that he's lazy, and I want him gone just like everybody else. But there's just something I always liked about him, Mike. You know that out of Georgia, just in that draft, Philadelphia, just the way Philadelphia was getting everybody. It was just I don't know. I was getting a little what's the word I'm looking for?
You had FOMO. You had fear of missing out. Jealous.
Yeah, jealous. I was jealous. Let's go to Steel Loyal here, where he says that means Boswell is more than 6.5 mil. Tyrone says, I think after the draft we signed JPJ, Herb, Big Darnell, and Bobby. You know, it's going to happen. The thing is, these guys ain't going anywhere. We're going to pay them, and they're handling business like business. They're seeing where the money's going, what they're going to pay to get some of these other guys that they want to get paid. And as Mike said, it's going to eventually work to within, and everything will be handled. Somber says, no, you can't shame Jamar Chase for spitting on Ramsey and then trade for another spitter. See, I don't have the problem with the spitting. We got into that yesterday.
As long as he's my spitter.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
He's not spitting on me. That's at the end of the day.
I'm going to do in hockey, there was a guy, Darius Kasparaitis, played for the Islanders. He was a goon, would always hurt the Penguins. We traded for him. I immediately forgave him because he was misunderstood. That's how I would feel about the guy who spits, comes on my team. He's just misunderstood. He's my guy now. I'm going to defend him.
Like, what if Tom Wilson would be a Penguin, Mike?
That's the bridge too far. That's the bridge too far. There's certain lines I can't cross, and that's one of them.
Let's go to Corey. Corey says, thanks for the sub, RB. I hope you enjoy the content. See you guys. Conspiracy solved. I do exist. It sure does. Go check Corey out at Don't Drink That right here on YouTube. If you love conspiracy theories, there's a lot. He has a lot of content. Go check him out. Kicker market has been set, is what Steele was saying. I do want to say, what's up to Devon Faucheux? What's up? Always great seeing new faces on the board, new names on the board. David. Dave Mofo Show. That is what it says.
Wow! Once again, Ryan and his.
Mike, you wouldn't have picked that up at first
No,
either. I seen your eyes crossing as you're trying to read.
No, that's why I let you go.
Oh wait, that's just your regular cross-eye. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, I got Forrest Whitaker eye. There's a difference. You got
Forrest Whitaker eye. Let's see. I do want to say though, Dave Mofo for show. What's up? Mike is playing musical chairs for whatever reason. I'm gonna grab Dave Mofo for sure while Mike plays his little games.
It did it on its own.
Dave says this. I think we might be a contender this year if Aaron Rodgers comes back and we draft a tackle and wide receiver. You know what, Dave? We just might be, and I hope we are, and I don't rule it out. I really don't rule it out. And it is as crazy as the AFC was last year. Denver, in New England were the 1 and 2 seeds. In Baltimore bowed out. They didn't make the playoffs. Kansas City was bad. Buffalo didn't take advantage of the season that they really could have taken advantage where these other teams weren't involved. So again, at the end of the day, Mike, I don't see any reason that it's an improved Steeler team with fixing some of those holes that we had last year can't lead into this being a good competitive season for us.
I agree. This team has a lot of potential, and just some of the guys that were on the roster, are some of them are ready to have major breakout years. Like Darnell Washington, he's on the cusp of becoming a complete tight end. Pat Freiermuth as well is going to. I think he's going to break out. On defense, man, Derek Harmon seems ready to just become a game wrecker on the defensive line. Peyton Wilson, is he ready to make a step into a playmaker? And then you got Porter and Jamel Dean at your corners. There's a lot of talent on this team. You got your two big studs at wide receiver. They're close. I know contending for a Super Bowl. I don't want to go that far, but contending and having nice runs in the playoffs, yes, I can see that. I think they're like 2 or 3 years away from some really good moves in this draft and the next draft to being in that conversation for Super Bowls. But I think this year could be a great stepping stone because a lot of guys are key for breakouts, man. And I have a feeling this O line with Frazier and with Fatanu are going to take quantum leaps, man. So there's blocks in place, but 2 to 3 years, I think we will be knocking on the door for a Super Bowl.
Mark Maloney says we need to get Concepcion, Dunker, and Corleone. Mike, I think that would be a good idea for the family.
I want me some Dante Corleone.
Still loyal. We are a contender every year. We just want to be a favorite. That might be more accurate. We are. We're always in it, guys. Come on. Steelers are never out of it as far as the season goes. Of course, Mike Tomlin. Mike played a big role. Love him or hate him. At the end of the day, he never allowed his team to not have a winning season. So do what you want with that. I know the arguments, and believe me, we've had them. But we are considerably a good football team, like consistently in this league. And you know what? We still have more Super Bowls than anybody else, with the exception of New England. So let's do Scoot on contender. Tortillas saying, Tyrone says, A-Rod with weapons and fix that left side of the offensive line, and we're good to go. Jamal says, A-Rod did miss a ton of throws, but I love this command over there. Me too. That's something that it's hard to teach, and especially with a young guy, even if he has it, it's hard to get in there with a bunch of grown millionaires who's very good at what they do and has done it their whole life, and be a leader to them, and to teach them, and to be able to talk to them in a way that they're going to follow you and respect you, but on the same hand, do what it is that you're saying that they need to do to make things better. So I do like that, Jamal. Of course, it was like having a coach on the field ultimately. And again, that's what you get with some of these quarterbacks. Like I said, there's only a handful of them on the planet at one time for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But this is what you get with that particular guy. And that's why, if I do favor Aaron Rodgers in any way, that's mostly what I want back. I want what's between his ears. He could still do some of the things he used to be able to do, and he can still chuck that ball down the field pretty far. But at the end of the day, if I want AR8 to come back, Mike, it's because what's between his ears.
That would be the only reason I would want him back. Is just for that veteran mindset, the know-how. It was fun last year with him until it wasn't in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And again, it looked like once the pressure got to him, now he's not wanting to take the hit. He's not wanting to scamper around and extend the play for longer than he has to.
And I don't think. Listen, I don't know if our offense. Let me say that if Aaron Rodgers felt confident, I'm like, that was a pretty damn good defense. And I don't know.
It was, yeah.
If the team that we had was built to beat that team, I don't know if the team that we had had a chance to beat that defense. Everybody that we played last year with good defenses, we stunk. We struggled against Cleveland. We struggled, lost that one game, scored under 10 points. Also, Mike, in the Green Bay game, they had a good defense. We couldn't move the ball. The Chargers had a good defense. We couldn't do anything against them. When teams had good defenses, but look what we did when we played the Ravens, who had a terrible offense. We moved the ball just fine. Cincinnati, who has a terrible offense, we moved the ball just fine. So we're weak. Again, I don't know if I want to blame it on what Aaron does or doesn't have. I just don't know if we were a good enough team to beat that defense that Houston brought last year.
Yeah.
Because, again, I think that you would agree, Mike, that defense was pretty damn dominant. And if the offense had more going on, they could have done more in the playoffs. But Houston's defense ain't no joke, man.
It is no joke. And if they had a competent offense, they probably would have went to the Super Bowl. But at the same time, though, there were plays there that Rodgers someone would get near him and he would get like this. You can tell the play was going to end because he didn't want to. I don't know if he didn't have it in him or if he was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to take the sack and throw it away or whatever. Like he didn't have that. I don't want to say that fight to get the extra yards, but I didn't know if like the body wasn't willing, the mind was willing and the body wasn't. I don't know if that was the situation. That might be the way to say it. Like it looked like his mind was willing and the body didn't want to, roll out of the pocket for him or extend the play. It's like he's just old now. And so like last year was fun. Let's move on with someone else.
All right, let's see what else we got going on the board. I do want to say welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let me go to Loud. What's up, Loud? Harley, always great seeing you on a terrible board. Loud says, can we stop with the Rogers already? Let's have the funeral and move forward, please. Black Magic Jamal says, this Forget VT is a Penn Stater. LOL, long live Will.
Hey man, I don't know where this slander of Vanilla Thunder comes from. That he is a Penn State fan. No, it's Iowa. Or I mean, I'm sorry, Indiana Hoosier fan through and through. Me and Mendoza.
See, you can't even form your mouth to say that you're a fan of another team except for Penn State. Let's go to Jamal says, this Mike, did we talk about PQ briefly? Did anybody find anything more going on with PQ? Just the way he asked that, perhaps maybe Mike, something had gone down.
I haven't seen anything yet. Excuse me.
PQ, I haven't seen it. What we did say, Jamal, is there's a couple teams, a handful of teams actually, especially Dallas is leading the way, in Philadelphia right after them. They're trying to work something out because they feel deficient on defense and they want to bring Patrick Queen in. They are talking about a 5th round pick for him if it does work out. But though, Jamal, these players have been pursued by Dallas and went elsewhere. Devin Bush, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Tremaine Edmonds, a lot of players like Dallas trying to go after, ended up going elsewhere. So we'll keep an eye on the Patrick Queen news, as he was the league's leader in missed tackles last season. Vegas says Al Bundy, 4 touchdowns in one game. Who can't use 4 touchdowns in one game?
Exactly.
Especially in the Chicago City Championship game. A-Rod be number 1. Tyrone saying, Loud is saying this, play Will Howard and see what happens if he sucks. That's what I'm saying. With the next draft coming up, you have to get an idea of what's going on, Will. You have to.
Yeah, and I'm coming around to it. You know, I if he turns out to be something special, fuck yeah, sign me up. I'm all for it. But I don't think he will be. I think he'll be a serviceable quarterback in the league. And do we want that or do we want more?
Jamal says Mason's still on the roster, shaking my head. Loud said Mason Rudolph is not an NFL quarterback. He never will be. I agree with you. I've said that since day one. Mark Malone, Rodgers can do real damage if we get another legit wide receiver and a beast left guard. We'll be able to run. We'll be able to run at will. Not at will, but at will. Loud says this. Let's keep playing Rodgers until he's 55.
Exactly. They just keep running them back because, you know, we just keep getting them more guys.
Right here, I do want to say that Tyrone says I'd trade PQ for a 4th. I'd trade him for an 8th. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Tater. Speaking of things that make you dumb, Tater, welcome to the Terrible Show. Great to see you, of course. Tater from the United Kingdom, the Cleveland Browns fan. But you know what? I'm going to be nice to Tater because next week, just 7 days from right now, it's going to be St. Patrick's Day. And I know that he's from somewhere in Europe,
Northern Ireland.
And I'm sure it has some relevance to where he's located. But Mike, next week, St. Patrick's Day.
I can't wait, man. That's my day. That's my time to shine. It's the one day a year I drink. Not buying it.
Still loyal. Hope you didn't buy a Devin Bush jersey, Tater. Good to see you, Tater. Let's go to Corey. Corey says, Jamal, any robot can be trans with the right DLC. You know what, Aaron? This is a good question. And I want to say what's up there, and welcome to the show. Aaron, I think it's just because he's safe. He's cheap. He knows the team. He knows the guys. He knows the system. And you know what? If you need him in a pinch, as we did when Aaron went down with the wrist, he was able to seamlessly step in. And it wasn't great. Mind you, the Chicago game that he did lose, it came down to the end. Chicago was a good team. It come down to a 4th down. We went for it. Unfortunately, Mason Rudolph wasn't able to pull it off. But at the end of the day, he's able to come in and facilitate and be that guy as a backup. And ultimately, I think at the end of the day, that's what it is at this point, Mike. It seems like he's easy.
Yeah, and he's a classic number 2 quarterback. Not good enough to be a starter. Not
And
bad
he doesn't
enough
cause problems. He doesn't run his mouth.
no,
He doesn't.
no, yeah, and
He's easy like Sunday morning, and I think
yeah,
that's what it is.
and he works well with the other quarterbacks in the room. Works well with the number 1. Works well with the number 3 guy. Works well with the O line and the skill position players. They every time he has come in, those receivers get amped up and juiced up because they know we're pushing the ball down the field. Guys want to play for him for whatever it is. They like playing for him because they know he's not afraid to sling it.
And he's an underdog too. A lot of guys
Yeah.
like the underdog. I mean, at the end of the day, not a lot of people love Mason Rudolph, and they feel that vibe. They're brothers. They're all in the locker room all year together, fighting, working, sweating, bleeding, crying, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, everybody likes to root for the underdog. So again, it doesn't surprise me, but ultimately, let me scoot back down to where that Aaron. I agree with you. I kind of ask myself the same question: why can't we figure something out with him? But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, he's safe, and he's just something that we don't have to bother with at the time. And as long as we can continue to pay him the way we do, and have him do the things he does, it just doesn't seem like it's in our itinerary of things to take care of at the moment.
You know what you're getting out of Mason Rudolph.
He's
a known quantity, and he's always available when needed.
I know. He's
he's Charlie Batch.
He is Charlie Batch.
And
I wasn't even sure Charlie Batch was on the team for the last 10 years. He was on the sideline. He was just
exactly there. And that's what I want out of my number 3 quarterback or number 2 quarterback. It's just someone who's there. He's there. He's not going to be your starter, but he's just there. You're safe. You don't have to worry about that position. And when he comes in, he gives you a fighting chance to win that game or keep it close enough for your defense to do something. He's fine as a number 2. We know he's not going to be a full-time starter. He knows he's not going to be a full-time starter. He knows his role, and like The Rock says, he knows his role, and he sits there and shuts his mouth.
Yeah, and every once in a while he puts that dumb picture of himself up in the overalls.
Exactly. And that's what I want out of my number 2 quarterback.
If you could get past the overall picture, then you're going to be all right, I think. Let's do scoot up here, though. Great question to Aaron Williams. Let me go to Loud. Loud says this: the 3-4 defense is a dinosaur queen. Is too small to play inside linebacker. Fact, you're not wrong. It is a fact. And
he can't shed those guys up front. That's why if we're going to keep running a 3-4, which is sounds like they want to do, that's why you got to get some big bastards up front to eat those blocks up to allow him to run free.
Let's go to Tortilla. Tortilla says PQ is an undercover CIA. Jamal says shaking my head and don't drink that. RB Gino to the Jets. Is that happening? Does anybody know? Or maybe I'm just reading it wrong. Gino and the Jets. Gino. Let me know what you see there.
Also, trying to load.
Tater Tot says this: I don't like trading with the Jets. They have a loser mentality. You're a Browns fan.
I don't want to trade with the Jets because they have a loser mentality.
They've won more Super Bowls than Cleveland has. Let's move along. Loud says, I talk to Bill Cowher about once a week, and he doesn't understand why they don't give Will Howard a chance. You know what? And I agree 100%. And if I was sitting there with you, I would be saying the same thing to Bill Cowher, because I truly have been wondering that. Of course, the injury certainly, not to the fault of the Steelers, the injury certainly put him behind the 8 ball last year, and that was unfortunate. RB, Daryl Porter Jr. is the exact answer that we were
Thank
looking
you.
for, Mike.
Yes, I knew it was a Porter Jr.
It was a junior. I knew that. It was a player's son. Let's go to RB. Michael Pittman Jr. is the son of and the old halfback, right? I do believe he was a halfback, correct? Steel Loyal saying yes. Cody says you can play 18 holes on the grass after you pick it up and smoke it. Also, Steel Loyal says, oh God, he's in the clan tag part. Saskatchewan. Vegas is saying, Steeler fan, what's up, dude? Steeler fan on the terrible board. He says Dobbs will be an awesome, perfect fit. But you know what? he doesn't. I don't think he is looking to be a number 3 wide receiver. He's probably looking for money and to be more, right, Mike?
Yeah, he wants to be at least a number 2, make number 2 money.
In our situation would be perfect, but it's just unlikely because again,
you never know. Like the longer he sits out there,
yeah,
and he might be taking the fuck. I'm not as valued as I thought I would be, and take a 1 or 2 year deal.
Let's do check in. Also, guys, do hit the poll when you come in. The poll today to see who you believe the Steeler quarterback is going to be when things kick off this September. Throw your opinions up there. I want to see what Steeler Nation is thinking, Mike, when it comes down to this question. Steel Loyal says, "Give me Vega. He's falling to 21 in all my mocks right now."
I hope it holds true. I hope it holds true.
Steel Loyal says, "Our inner Kyler Murray slipped out." Our inner Kyler Murray.
Okay, here we go. Yes, Geno Smith is going back home. The Raiders are sending Geno Smith in a 2026 7th-round pick to the Jets in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick.
There you go. Geno and the Jets, everybody. Let's go. Tyrone says, "I want to tackle." Steeler fan says Dobbs would be I mean, he would. It would be a really good case scenario for us. But at the end of the day, I mean, how much more money are we going to be putting?
You're all about putting money in the in the offense. Now you're like, how much more money can we put there?
Well, I don't think it's a bad question to ask.
It's not a bad question. I don't know. I just like to give you shit.
Don't Drink That says Deke from the Big Deke News just posted a video saying that Cousins is our plan B according to the team, and Jacksonville is opening up trade talks for Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay, now I would take Brian Thomas Jr. all day, every day for my third receiver in that room because he's still under a rookie contract. Would have next year, but then the following year, you got that 5th-year option you have to figure out. But I would love me some Brian Thomas Jr.
Also, guys, talking about the wide receiver room, of course, Michael Pittman Jr. yesterday, Mike acquired in a trade. Michael Pittman Jr.'s wife, just last week, had a dream of being dressed in all black and gold, not knowing quite what it meant, Mike. And a week later, Michael Pittman is a Pittsburgh Steeler. I want to say welcome to that man, a young man here to Pittsburgh. I look forward to seeing him play, Mike, and having him in this offense again. Yeah. Such an upgrade compared to anything that we had in that spot for the past 2 seasons.
Oh, a big time upgrade, and it's going to be nice to see someone out there manhandling corners again on run plays.
For sure. Let's see. I'm going to go right here.
And someone who doesn't drop the ball.
Steeler fan says this: we need to prioritize left guard in the draft with losing Ciamalo. Unless, you know what, that's a good point, Steeler fan. But that might also get tackled this week with a veteran. I think they're probably looking at a veteran to try to fill that spot. I could be wrong, but from what I'm reading, it seems like they're looking around at the possible veterans that they could maybe get their hands on. Mark, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say there's still a couple out there that are good. You still have they're a little bit older, but the Joel Bitonio and Wyatt Teller from the Browns are 2 names that I keep seeing pop up to keep an eye on.
Gino yeah.
And who was Dylan Farnham was the other guy I keep seeing the name. If this is true, Derpy, who is not here today, just said Romeo Dobbs to the Pats. So I'm going to check to verify that.
Romeo Dobbs to the Patriots, and Derpy's been on top of it, Mike.
Yeah, Derpy Schefter is right. Dobbs, goes to the Patriots.
There you go, guys. We were just talking 2 seconds ago about the possibility of him coming here. Romeo Dobbs, Mike, on his way to New England.
Yeah, that's a very good pickup for them. I like that.
Absolutely.
You're going to lose Stephon Diggs. You get Dobbs, who's, by all accounts, I haven't heard of any crazy off-the-field issues with him, and you get really good production as well. So a really good pickup for the Patriots. I hate saying that.
For the Northeast, Mike, they're getting active. You got the Jets bringing Geno Smith home, as people are saying on the board also. The Patriots, that is big. Mike, Romeo Dobbs, again, off the table for anybody that had interest in him. Once we picked up Pittman, Mike, I didn't think we were going to go Dobbs. I figured our next move was going to be getting a nice receiver in the draft, starting building the room that way. Again, I'm looking towards an offensive lineman. Mike, if we make any moves today, if we make any moves tomorrow, I would be not surprised at all if it was a left guard. So we'll keep an eye on that again as the show goes on. We're trying to keep up with anything new that's coming out. Not anywhere nearly as exciting and eventful as yesterday, but still the moves are happening. Mike, again, Geno Smith back to the Jets. He was born to be a Jet, still loyal, says. And then Romeo Dobbs, Mike, to New England. So that clears that up. Tortilla says McCarthy and Beck could make perfect eye contact. Yep, Gino's back on the Jets. Steeler fan says, God, no Carson Beck. Somber says, Beck's eye sockets worry me. He looks strung out. He does. He got that old fish-eyed.
He's a fish-eyed fool.
He's a fish-eyed fool. Corey says Cleveland is going to need a corner bad. Greg Newsome is with the Giants now. Mark Malone, come on. If we had Beck, McCormick, and Dunker. It's Beige. I know. I think I called him Bagel one time. Cody says this Tyrone is like Pat Queen, all gas, no brakes. It's Steelers for life. What's up, dude? I don't want to say, or I always say, dude. I just assume that everybody's going to be a guy. Maybe I have to adjust that. Again, welcome to Pitt Steelers for life. He says Rodgers needs to retire. Will Howard, quarterback number 1. And if you haven't yet, do hit the poll. Let us know on the poll. We're going to try to get an overall number of how things look, guys, by what Steeler Nation is saying when it comes to the quarterback. I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's time to give Will Howard a shot. I'm right there with you. But you know what? At the end of the day, Mike, if this offense does get put together, as it seems to be with the picking up of the receiver and having a nice pickup in the backfield, if you could get that left side of the line and maybe another weapon or two in the draft, I wouldn't hate watching Aaron Rodgers play with a better offense if that be the case. However, I'm leaning. I want to see Will. I want to see what the hell he has going on. Again, big draft coming up next year with a lot of quarterbacks. We need to get a look, but at the end of the day, I think it could be entertaining to a degree, Mike, watching Aaron Rodgers play with an offense.
Yeah, and if it's bringing him back, knowing, hey, it's his last run here, and we really like what we see in Will Howard, and we're using it to, groom him for another year, the way we did Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay and Jordan Love in Green Bay, and the way quarterbacks used to be groomed, sit for a year or two. Do that with Will Howard, and then you hand the keys to the franchise to Will Howard. I'm okay with that. If they're 100% set on Will Howard's the future, but he needs to work on things, we want to do that in practice, and this is our last year of bridge quarterbacks, go ahead and do that. If that's what your philosophy is going to be, do it, embrace it, and like I said, keep building that team. And I love the moves we're making right now in free agency and what we did in the draft the past couple of years, laying that foundation and fleshing out their roster for the eventual franchise quarterback. If they think that's Will Howard, let him learn one more year. And in this draft, load up on your O-line again, load up at wide receiver.
What I'm going to do, Mike, I'm going to ask you this question, then I'm going to scoot up the board a little bit. I apologize if anything is coming up that I did miss.
Boys are rocking and rolling.
Keep up, and I at least want to get Mike to where the comments are, right on time, or at least close to the time. So what I'm going to do, Mike, I'm going to ask you this question. If it comes down to it, and let's just say everything gets all jacked up, and we're sitting in a situation where it's either Joe Flacco or Kirk Cousins, which direction do you go if it comes down to that? Obviously, wouldn't it be one of the worst case scenarios? As I scoot up, Mike, to try to find where it can start back up on the board, Joe Flacco and Kirk Cousins. Again, God forbid you were never in that situation.
Yeah, God forbid it does not go that situation. But in that situation, I am going to go with Joe Flacco. I think he's been the more productive quarterback recently and overall in his career. Yes, he won a Super Bowl. Yes, he was on that great Ravens team, but he proved he can do it in the playoffs. Probably would have won more playoffs games, but he had to keep going through Pittsburgh, and we just always have the Ravens number. Give me Joe Flacco. I like what he did in Cleveland. I like what he did in Indy. I like what he did in Cincinnati. If we had to suffer a year with one of those two.
If he came here, he'd have the worst time out of any team that he played for his career. It would play out that way.
It would play out that way. It would suck. It would be funny though too. But I think out of those two, give me Joe Flacco. I've never been a big fan of Kirk Cousins. He's a guy who can put up some great numbers for you, make you look flashy, but in big games, he falls apart. He would fit in with TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, but
Yeah,
I
that's what
don't
we
want a
need to
guy
get
that will
away
fit in
from.
with those two that crumbles in the big moments in the big games. I want a quarterback that can rise above, and right now I think Flacco can still do it.
Mike, I think I found where I'm going to be. I'm going to go right here where Loud is and up where Robert Kaufman is. I do want to say welcome to the show to Robert. Also, Mike, I'm going to go to Loud Harley where he says, I'm a Steeler fan since the 70s. He says, I'm 59. Let me scoot up to right here. I had it right here. There it
You
goes.
had it. You had it, then you
Let's go
lost it.
to Tyrone. Tyrone says, A-Rod, chill right now. He's seeing what moves we make, but he jumped out of his seat when we got MPJ and Rico. Also, Mike Robert Kaufman. Robert Kaufman with a very good point. I love this message, and you'll know why in just a second. He says, Dean's ability is greater than his availability. Mike, this is a term that we use here on the show quite often. What's a person's best ability? Their availability. Is this going to be a problem? Does he have injury issues? Thank you for the comment, Robert. That is a good question. His ability is greater than his availability.
I haven't looked into like how many games he's missed recently. I hope that's not the case because his ability is off the charts. He's one of the better corners in the league. I'm going to look it up now to see how much how much time he has missed because that's like on our show, man. That's our big thing, man.
And
availability.
That's all we need is more people injured all the time.
Yeah.
Loud is saying this. I don't want 55-year-old quarterbacks. And that's, like I said, that's the worst case scenario. I don't want that either, believe me.
He played 14 games last year, so he missed 3. He's never, games played in his career. 13, 14, 15, 15, 13, 12, 14. So miss about like 3 to 4 games a year.
That's concerning. That's
concerning. And when he's out there, he's great, but you missed that time. So hey, smart move bringing back Asante Samuel Jr.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
And you look in the 3rd round for another corner who can play outside.
Robert says this. He says, I've always been sick of Rodgers from before he became our sickness. I listen, you know what, Robert? I'm the same way. I didn't want him here at all. He's Green Bay's quarterback. He's their franchise guy. When he's done here, he's going to go retire with them. He's at the end of the day, I was never a huge fan. I said, whoever's our quarterback, I'll get behind him, and I hope the best, and I hope they do well and help us win. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I never loved the Aaron Rodgers idea either. I guess it's doing what it's supposed to do. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Mike, we had the same results, whether it be him or the Russell Wilson, Justin Fields tandem, both 10-7 records, both one and dones in the playoffs. So at the end of the day, I don't know. I didn't like it either. Ultimately, I'm ready to see this team get younger in age, just overall at the average of the team. And it's going to start, Mike, some point by, again, not having a 40-some-year-old quarterback in a league that 30 is considered old.
Yeah.
Let's go to Pitt Steelers for life. Pitt Steelers for life said this exactly. Refuse A. Rodgers and see what Will Howard can do. Scoot up a little bit more here. I do want to say what's up to Miku 5. He says, I miss having a quarterback that that showed promise for now and the future. Maybe, and that's the thing about Will. We don't know. Maybe he can be the guy. And if he's not, I want to know sooner than later. That way we know how to handle situations and handle our team and figure out what's going on next. So I cannot wait to July to see this kid play, just to see him play.
That's all I want to know. I want to see how he plays. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some of his some of the people I watched that break down quarterbacks, some ex quarterbacks break down his college film again, just to get a better idea. Because I was starting to warm up to him coming in as a late round pick to be a guy on the roster. not to be a starter in year 2. So I want to go back and rewatch some of that stuff and maybe come in with a fresh set of eyes and a fresh opinion about him. Because right now he's the only Ohio State player I have not liked that we have drafted. I love Santonio Holmes. I loved Cam
I'm sure
Hayward
you
when we
didn't
got him.
back then.
Oh, I did.
This is such an easy conversation for you because nobody knew you, so you could easily say these things, and there's no way to confirm or deny. When I've never ever heard you say anything nice about an Ohio State player since I've known you, so I'm going to go with the odds. I'm going with
on the rosters. Cam Hayward.
I'm going with the odds on this one, Mike. I apologize for not believing you, but this is the route that I have to take. I find myself just intelligent enough to be able to pick this out.
Do I look like a guy that would hate Santonio Holmes?
No, initially, yes, absolutely. Until he started making all them plays in the NFL.
Because I saw what he did against Penn State all the time. I'm like,
it doesn't matter, Mike. Remember, because you can't talk about what Will Howard did in college, so we can't make that transition. So let's move on, Mike. Let's go to Lou. Lou says, we're rebuilding. Your rebuild with youth, not. And I think that was the point of them making a point to say it wasn't a rebuild, maybe. Mike, because a lot of people might have had the same point. You're not rebuilding. You're grabbing a guy that's on AARP and you're putting him at quarterback. How's that a rebuild? But I think they watched their words wisely when they did state that, Mike. This is not a rebuild. This is not. We plan to stay. We retool. We plan to stay competitive.
No. We're not rebuilding. We're remodeling.
Yeah,
we're remodeling, and sometimes you got to put up that old door until you can get that new door, and that's what Aaron Rodgers is right now. He's that old door frame.
Christopher, I do want to say welcome to Christopher Turner 11. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. Christopher says this, Mike, the Steelers are going to wait on Rodgers the same as last year. And you know what? This is exactly what they said they weren't going to do. That's what's going to piss me off. If this does turn into the long wait Aaron Rodgers game, or if it's the big secret again. And I thought that was Tomlin's idea. It was always the big secrets. He never really wanted to come out and give you information. So we will find out a little bit about a few things this year, Mike. But this is what they said wasn't going to happen. So middle of March was initially what was said. I'm giving them that. Today's March 10th. So middle of March, next week sometime, we may or may not know, but this was the time frame that the Pittsburgh Steelers gave us at the get-go, Mike, was mid-March. So whether it goes beyond that, whether we're going to play this Aaron Rodgers bullshit into April, I don't want it. But again, at the end of the day, they may know for whatever reason. They're not, again, always the big secrets, but maybe that was a Tomlin thing. We'll certainly keep our eye on that. Let's see, Steel Loyal, how does that have anything to do with chat? I'm not sure what that was regarding. Let's go to scoot up a hair again. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to catch new names as well, Mike. I don't want to miss anybody. If I do, I apologize. I will certainly read them all. I do get to them all, but during the show, let me see. Steel Loyal says I don't live in PA. Loud is going after. We might have something else brewing on the board between Steel and Loud. I'm seeing Loud say, have a great day in Pennsylvania. Enjoy your day job. And Steele says, I don't live in Pennsylvania. So whatever's going on with that, I don't know. But I'm going to scoot forward here. Derpy, what's up, Dean? There he is. Derpy. There's Derpy. I'm like, I got to do it.
Derpy. There we go.
Also, still loyal, but have fun drinking beers with Bill Cowher, which is pretty awesome in itself. Let me do scoot up here a little bit. Somber says Fields must feel horrible. LOL. If they're bringing in Geno, for Fields is confirmed a career backup, basically, is what's being said. Still Loyal says Bill Cowher lives in my building. Bro doesn't live in an apartment. Okay, so there they go. They still going. Let's see. Derpy on the Romeo. I don't know. I can't even decipher what Tater is trying to say. So I'm going to pass Tater.
That's always a smart move sometimes.
I try to be fair. I
like Tater. I like Tater.
Disenfranchised Browns, whatever the hell he is. I try to keep it fair. Mark Malone, I'd rather see Concepcion or Burks out of OU. Kind of go through here again. I live around the Giants, Jets, Yankees, Mets, Rangers, Knicks, Nets. Figure it out. Maybe he's from California. Just kidding. Let's go on to Tortilla. Tortilla says, my source is telling me that JPJ is the GOAT. Here's a question, Mike. Was Herbig a cover linebacker in college? Move him to middle linebacker. I don't know if is that a question.
I think he was an inside backer in college, and they made him an edge, and put him on the edge in the pros. If I remember correctly.
Let's go to Stubby. I do want to say welcome to Stubby, 75.2K. Stubby, welcome to the terrible board. Welcome to the show. He says, I think the starter will just be Aaron or Will Howard. At the end of the day, I think that's the way that it should go. I think if it's Aaron, I guess, what are we going to do? We're stuck with it. Okay, he has enough up here to maybe keep things interesting. And then if it's not, I'm all on board with Will Howard. Why not? Why not? Again, you drafted him. You got to take a look at him. They never try a new QB is what Stubby is saying. I do want to say welcome to the show, Stubby. Great to have you. Great comment. Let me scoot up a little bit more. We better not get Gino is what Stubby is saying. Luckily, he's in New York. Steel Loyal is going to enjoy him now. Let's go to again. I'm just trying to go through. I don't want to miss anybody. Here's another. Put Steelers for life. Thanks for the shout out. Yep, I'm a guy. Steeler. Okay, awesome. Great to have you, bro. Awesome having you on the show. Great to have you on the terrible board. Welcome. Stubby says this. Who do you want with the first round pick? You know what? Ultimately, it's gonna. I think yesterday helped us out as far as a player. I know what position I like, Mike. I want to get a high wide receiver. I don't want us to change the strategy that we had 2 days ago when we didn't fill a wide receiver 2 position. I want to still get a highly talented, because here's the thing. Neither of these guys are young. Pittman, and Metcalf, at the end of the day, they're on a couple-year contracts. But wouldn't it be a good idea to get yourself a high-end wide receiver at this point to get into the system and playing with these guys? That way, when DK is up in 2 years after this year, you're going to already kind of put yourself in a position to be wide receiver ready. Mike, at the end of the day, with my first pick, I still go for a high-profile wide receiver.
Me too. Like I said earlier, man, like by the time they're entering their prime and getting ready for the contract, those two are going to be off the books.
Yep.
And then you're good to go. And hopefully by that time too, you have your franchise quarterback already on the roster. They already have a nice chemistry to go, and the offense can keep running smoothly right there. So I'm all for wide receiver, but I won't be opposed if they go tackle, guard, D lineman, corner, safety. But my ideal would be like Mekhi Lemon Falls or Omar Cooper Jr. Is there one of those two guys, or Jordan Tyson maybe? Just a top flight wide receiver. So bam, Mike, we're off and running.
And it wouldn't bother me either if it's a lineman. Again, Mike, I like the game plan of building the line and working your way out, which they started to do with Broderick, which ended up being a disaster, obviously. But again, with Zach Frazier drafting him, with Fatanu, and then on the defensive side of the ball with Harmon, they're really working on the line on both sides of the ball, and I'm not against that. So if they would grab somebody in the first round on either the offense or the defense side of the ball on the line, I'm not against that, because it's going to be a strong, solid piece. It's probably going to be here for quite some time. So if that does happen, I don't hate it. Me personally, I'm still going after the high wide receiver, Mike. But certainly the offensive line or defensive line wouldn't piss me off, just because I ultimately know it's probably best, and to have a good, solid, consistent line for a period of time certainly plays into team success over a period of time.
Oh yeah, and that can help. That's going to help your quarterback immensely. That's going to help your run game even more, which is going to help your passing game in turn too. So like, go back to the Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl. Who won both lines? The Eagles did. They controlled that game.
Absolutely.
Like the Chiefs may have had they had the better quarterback, but the Eagles had the better lines, and they were able to do anything that they wanted. They run the ball, pass the ball, stop the run, and force them to be one-dimensional in the pass game, and this harassed Mahomes all day long just by rushing 4 and dropping people in coverage. So I like the philosophy of building both lines. And if we continue that in the first round, I'm okay with that. But I really, really want a star receiver in the first round.
I don't see them. I'm looking at random comments as we go. End of days. I just don't know if there's a quarterback in this draft that would be worth going after at this particular time. In other words, there's the Will Howard situation that bled over from last year's draft. And then next year, you have a pretty strong, certainly a considerably stronger quarterback draft than this year. There's not a lot of people that's knocking down the doors for a lot of these quarterbacks. Of course, Mendoza, we know he's going to go early to the Raiders. In between us and the Jets, Mike, I guess they got their guy with Geno Smith, but they were certainly on the books for needing a quarterback. I just don't know if there's anybody that I would want this year. And if you did take somebody this year, where does he fall into play? Because again, you may have your veteran quarterback coming back. You have Will Howard on the bench. You have the backup Mason Rudolph. Let's say you bring in a quarterback this year at the draft, and let's say that you see somebody that pops up next year who's like a gettable. Let's say, just for an example, people might like the name Arch Manning. Maybe Arch Manning comes out. You're like, well, shit, if we didn't have 54 quarterbacks, we might be able to go get Arch Manning. I don't want to put ourselves in a position by going after a quarterback just to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
Again, we still have a guy that hasn't taken a snap. And I think we skipped the quarterback this year. That's just me. Let's take a look at Will. Let's see him in July. And again, especially if Aaron comes back, Mike, because next year seems a lot more sensible when you're talking quarterbacks in the draft.
It does too. And because quarterback 2 is going to be Ty Simpson this year. I think there's probably going to be better quarterbacks coming out than him. I don't want to waste a first round pick on a quarterback just to draft a quarterback. Yes, I know it's the most important position on the field, but you see what happens when you reach on a quarterback in the first round.
Absolutely.
What that can do with your franchise.
If it's a good thing, then it's a home run. But if you miss, it puts you back years.
Yeah, well, someone who's not a surefire first round pick, I don't want to reach them. If these guys were like, oh, they're borderline first round picks, okay, overdraft and get them in the first round. But guys are like, well, we're not sure. Oh, well, he was sick in college. Oh, well, there this, that, and the third happened. I don't want the what ifs when I'm drafting a quarterback in the first round. Like if it's someone who's had a really good college career, played well in the big moments, played well against the big teams, we can see he might be a first round pick, maybe a second round pick based on whatever else is going in the draft. Go ahead and overdraft that guy. But when you have to start saying, well, if this happened, well, if that happened, that's not a sound argument to draft a guy in the first round. I don't trust it. And I'd rather wait to get a better prospect, not the perfect prospect, because that's never going to happen, but to get someone who has more potential and has showed more in college than the guys here.
We got
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It was a great novel, but we got to move on. Let's go to right around. I had a spot and then it moved 6 times on me.
Good.
But,
good. I'm glad it moved.
We don't want to get anybody's word in, Mike. That would be terrible.
I know that would be terrible.
Let's go to right around. Oh, geez, where did it go? Derpy's complaining. Can't wait for the annual mediocre 18 to 21 pick overall.
Derpy is either happy or crashing out. There's no in between.
Okay, here's the one I wanted to start at, Mike. A lot of Steel Loyal says a lot of dial-up internet today is what Steel Loyal is saying.
Hey, that better not be directed at us because we're actually running smooth today.
This is what it was like.
Oh my god, he's still fucking playing it.
Tortilla says, picking 18 is lit. Jen says, Ryan says, pass the tater. Tyrone, Braden Smith to the Texans, 2 years, $25 million. This is what Tyrone is saying on the board. Also, Squeege is saying, have you guys discussed Brisker? He will be a killer piece, but if Elliott can stay healthy, I like Ramsey and Elliott back there with Digger. What's going on with Digger, Mike? Is he going to be back this year?
I have not heard a single thing about him coming back this year. Like I said, if we get other pieces, I don't mind him as a backup. Full-time starter, I think we started to see his play deteriorates the more he's out there, but as a backup, a good piece. Jaquan Brisker, I would like to have him on the team, but with the head owies, with the concussions, I'm kind of hesitant towards. But if you can get a clean bill of health for him and I'm all for bringing in
Somber says this. Somber says Panthers bringing Simmons back. Tyrone Mike says we might not make a move till tomorrow. We might not. We might not again. Especially if if there's we have things going on. Maybe we're contacting different people about guards. Mike, a lot of things could be happening that we don't see happening, but it's very possible. Ty, we may not. Or I'm sure it'll happen the moment we go off the air. It'll be the big story of the day. We'll go down. Tends to happen that way. Let me go to Danny. What's up, Danny Boiling? My man, always great to see you on the Terrible Board. He says, what's up, fellas? Like the moves made so far, even though I don't like the McCarthy hire, I'm coming around to the idea and feeling better about the season. Rogers still needs to retire. Lots of great points in there. I do agree with a lot of that. Danny, great having you, man. My man, great seeing you. Welcome back to the board. Steel Loyal says, I think we could take a move. We can make a move at any moment, to be honest, to Tyrone. And that's also a possibility as well. Don't let me fool you. Don't let me make you believe that we're not going to do anything today. But this is how the day is looking so far. But we will see. Tortilla says, no, we're done making moves. Steel Loyal, let's see, Rossini 49ers price for Mac Jones described as astronomical. Astronomical. There you go. A lot of people bringing that name up early, Mike, was Mac Jones.
Yeah, that's telling me right there the 49ers feel like the rest of the NFL doesn't value this draft class that high in quarterback after Mendoza.
Tortilla saying Ty Simpson. Also, Tyrone is saying, I don't see us taking a wide receiver first round. I think that could be the beauty of the wide receiver in the first round, is because you certainly today, who knows what it's going to feel like in 44 days. But as you're approaching I think that they could tackle that and like I said, really make an impact by grabbing one of these highly talented wide receivers. Like there's a bunch of them, but you get yourself a nice wide receiver. With the providing he's not a maniac, you're probably going to be set for some time at that position. And again, DK and even Michael Pittman Jr. aren't exactly kids anymore. So again, Mike, I could see them going high on that. And then depending on what they do in these next with free agency. I think that's going to give you a little hint on how if they may handle going after a lineman, whether it be offense or defense in the draft. Another thing, Cam Hayward isn't going to be around forever, so you're eventually going to want to start getting depth players. Maybe in your 6th round, your 7th round, later picks like that, Mike, you're going to start to see maybe depth players being drafted at that point. Who the new Andersons, who the new people that are going to just be on the team to fill roles are going to be. So. Yeah,
the new Isaiah Loudermilk,
the new Loudermilks, and the new Guy Whimpers, and the new Harry Mandouches, or what was his name? Mondu. Let's see a couple more here. Mike, we are rounding third on the show, unfortunately, so I'm going to continue to scoot up. I do apologize, everybody. You know that I like to. I like to read them all in the air, and if I don't, I do get to them eventually, guys, later that day. So I do apologize. I don't want to miss anybody. RB says yes and no. He's not costing them anything. Oh, moved on me again. It's not costing them anything. So why just give him away? I think that is referring to the Mac Jones comment. Also, Tortilla, do they need an edge rusher, make a player for player trade and throw a day 2, and how they could turn that down when the draft comes around. Let's go to Steel Loyal. They want a 1st and 3rd. A 1st and 3rd for Mac Jones. The guy's a backup quarterback. He got drafted by New England and then moved because he wasn't better than that guy. And then he was a backup in San Francisco because he wasn't better than their guy. And they went a 1st and a 3rd.
Get the fuck out of here.
Wow. I think that Mike, that might deserve this.
Oh, hell no.
Exactly.
Let's see. I'm going to grab a couple more messages, Mike. Ty says they lost their mind, man. Beck stayed in college till he was 26 for a reason. Derpy, stay crashing out. That is from Jamal. The nostalgic sound from that dial-up internet, huh? I want to say what's up to Darius. Darius Herbert. I want to say welcome to the Terrible Board. Welcome to the show. Darius says this: how about we trade for Brian Thomas Jr. for 2nd round or 3rd round pick, and then trade Patrick Queen and then draft a linebacker in the 1st round. You know what, Mike? That could change things up because it does add that wide receiver to the mix. I know that you're ultimately going to be wanting to find your young wide receiver eventually,
but
you,
he's only what, 23?
that's what I'm saying. You throw BTJ in there, that could change up that formula that I was just talking about.
Yeah, do that. And let's just say it does take a second, and they do that. You still have 3 third-round draft picks, plus 2 4s, multiple 6 and 7s, to where you can package them to get back up into the second round at some point, or even mortgage the second round from next year to move back up too. They have a lot of flexibility to do a lot of things, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. Taking like what, CJ Bell from Georgia in the first round, or CJ Allen, excuse me, in the first round, and then you have BTJ as would be your second round pick, and then there you go. There's your linebacker. There's your new wide receiver in 2 picks. Then you have all those thirds to get a tackle, a guard, a corner.
I want to say welcome to Robert Kirkpatrick. Robert says 49ers GM is on meth, I think is what he's saying.
he needs to get on some ayahuasca.
Hey, you ain't kidding, man. That's insane. That's insane. Daniel Jones is about to get extended by the Colts.
Jesus.
There you go, Mike. You're asking who's going to throw the ball over there. Apparently, they're sticking with
He's
Danny Dimes.
still going to be out most of the year at the blown Achilles.
Confused. Somber says, I'm confused. Why are we talking about BTJ? Mark Malone, imagine Beck, Dunker, McCormick stepping off the bus. Intimidation factor times 10. You think we're right in the head? We signed our dude. Somber says, we signed our dude. Okay, going back to the receiver, obviously, making back to the BTJ comment. Got you on that. Mike, one more thing, and then we are going to get to that point of the show where we have to start wrapping things up. Mike, this was certainly talked about yesterday about, of course, our new addition from the secondary, Jamel Dean, coming up from Tampa Bay. A lot of good word about him. Of course, the injuries, him being able to stay on the field is the issue that we're learning more about as we learn about Mr. Dean, Mike. But this, you mentioned yesterday, with the 90.5, the ratings, the highest grade quarterback. Okay, Mike, this is just something interesting, and this is something that a lot of people knew. But think of it this way. Jamel Dean and Joey Porter Jr. allowed 1 touchdown combined over the last 2 seasons.
Not bad.
Jamel Dean and Joey Porter Jr. allowed 1 touchdown over the past 2 seasons.
I'm no locked in, dialed in NFL guru, but I think that's pretty damn good, boys.
I do too. Let me grab a couple more here, Mike, and we are going to start getting ready to wrap it up. Get the results ready for the from the poll. We'll get ready to get into them, see how that went. Let me grab. I'm going to grab Mark right here. Mark Bornasati. Bornasort, maybe. He says this really high in draft day number 2 on pit line. Kyle Lewis is the dude. He's a beast. I would love to have Kyle Lewis. He would be a nice pickup if you're talking inside linebacker. He says kid can hit and cover, but undersized for guards in the middle. I agree. I if you're a pit guy, H2P, Mark. Let's see, JPJ, Dean Island. JPJ and Dean Island, I like it. Still Loyal says Porterhouse in the Dean's list. Look at this. I like these names. As Mike is gathering, Mike, what is the results, of course, today? Who is going to be the Steelers quarterback when it's all said and done at the end of the day? Mike, how does the results play out?
Okay, well, on the horizontal stream, we had 94 votes. 53% are saying Aaron Rodgers, 31% were hired, 12% other, and a measly 4%. Mark Malone's not going to like this one. Mason Rudolph.
All right, so Aaron Rodgers, one more time, Aaron Rodgers got what?
Aaron Rodgers got 53% of the votes.
Wow.
On that poll, I had to set up 2 different polls because I got the 2 different streams going. And over on the other one, over on your favorite, the vertical, 18 votes. Will Howard with 56, Rodgers with 28, other 17, and obviously Mark Malone was not over here because Mason Rudolph ended up with 0%.
Well, Mike, now add them together. What's the totals? So Aaron Rodgers got
Aaron Rodgers is the overwhelming winner. Will Howard number 2, other number 3.
How many votes? Just
It didn't break it down by actual
so
number of
18 votes.
it went
53. No, it doesn't give the number of votes.
It doesn't give me the number of votes. No, it's broken
Gotcha.
up by percentage. And I am not doing math on the show. We know how that goes when I try and do math.
Gotcha.
But Aaron Rodgers is the overwhelming winner with Will Howard number 2, other number 3, and Magnum Mason Rudolph bringing up the rear.
All right, guys. Steeler Nation has spoken, Mike. I mean, as of right now, most of the people believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the quarterback next year. And again, it could very well possibly be. It could very well already be understood. But again, we certainly haven't got that information yet, guys. A couple more here. Somber says, don't grab Mark without consent, Ryan. Tommy Strings, what's up, dude? Couldn't make it today till now. Just wanted to pop in, say, hey, always great seeing Tommy Strings on the terrible board, as it is seeing everybody, guys. A few things, Mike, before we do get into the mode to wrap things up. We do have the trivia question of the day. But first, I just want to say these few notes about our other teams in Pittsburgh. Mike, the Pirates beat the Yankees yesterday in spring training. They beat the Yankees 5-3. They're back at it tomorrow, a day off. Today, they'll be back at it tomorrow at 105 against the Orioles. Paul Skeens pitched for the Team USA, throwing 4 innings, 7 strikeouts. He threw, Mike, in 4 innings, 12 outs. He managed to get 7 of them by way of strikeout.
He was on fire yesterday.
Also, the Pittsburgh Penguins back at it tonight, Mike. They are traveling to Carolina, back down to that Carolina again. Mike, today, 7 o'clock tonight, Pittsburgh Penguins at Carolina Hurricanes. And then also starting about an hour ago, Mike, the first round of the ACC tournament in the NCAA, as March Madness is just around the corner. Pitt was taking on Stanford today at Charlotte, North Carolina. That's still going on. Mike, why don't you tell everybody about the website, and then we're going to get into this trivia of the day.
It is the 2dumyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone. We got my dumb thoughts over there. Got my mock draft up there. Tomorrow I will have the post free agency, the post tampering period, first mock draft. Got all Ryan and I social media links over there. We got RB and Chop. They got articles up over there, but a couple prospects, a couple mock drafts up over there at the 2dumyinzers.com. I'm going to throw the website up into the chat.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. A lot of cool things over there. And as Mike said, in the new draft team, Chop and RB articles up, guys. Both dealing with some under the weatherness, if you will, Mike. Unfortunately, both of them would have been on this week. I'm not saying they're not going to be on later in the week, but I do know both are dealing with some illness as things are going on right now, Mike. And it was warm. It got warm yesterday. It was like 70 degrees. And I always say it's the worst being sick when it's warm out, because it just is.
It is. It is. I know what you mean.
Tyrone says, who the hell voted for Rudolph?
Mark Malone.
Mark Malone. No.
Mark Malone. He probably made 5 different accounts trying to get them all in there.
Guys, it's time to get into it. Let's get into the trivia question of the day. This, Mike, is a lot ado about the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room lately. Of course, being deficient, now getting Michael Pittman Jr., adding him with DK, talking about the draft. Mike, we're going to talk about top receivers for the Steelers in this next draft question, or I'm sorry, in this next trivia question about wide receivers with the draft just 44 days away. Mike, put on your thinking cap. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. This is the Steelers trivia question of the day. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Which Steelers wide receiver tandem has the highest amount of receiving yards combined in a season in team history?
Ooh.
Let me read it again. Which Steelers wide receiver tandem has the highest amount of receiving yards combined in a season? I'm talking about 2 receivers. The 2. Not all of them. The 2 best receivers on the team. I'm looking for who they were that did this, Mike. The 2 wide receivers, for example, right here on the board, Vegas says Hines Ward and Plexico Burress. Not a bad guess at all, but
Very
that
good guess.
is what we're looking for, is an answer of that nature, guys. Let me read it one more time so you can think it over. Which Steelers wide receiver tandem has the highest amount of receiving yards combined in a season in team history? Take a minute to think that over, guys. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Warden Holmes, AB, and Juju. Mike, I'm seeing different answers on the board. I'm seeing Rashard Mendenhall, Tortilla say. I love some of these answers, man. And it's so funny because sometimes you get going and you're like really into it. And then one of these guys, they get you. And it makes me laugh. It really does make me laugh, especially when I go back and I watch the show. Let me jump in here because I'm getting a bunch of different answers, Mike. Warden Burris is what Vegas is saying. Heinz Ward and Plexico Burris, of course. I do want to say Varys Lovett. I do want to say welcome to the Terrible Board. Glad to have you here. Welcome. He says he or she. It says AB and Juju. AB and Juju. Also, Mike, Tyrone is saying Warden Holmes. Warden Holmes. Tortilla, Rashard Mendenhall. Steel Loyal. Steel Loyal says Antonio Brown and Martavius Bryant. Tommy Strings says, hell with it. I'm going to go Swan and Stallworth. How bad could it be? Richard Jankowski, I'm sorry, on the board, my man. Glad to see you today. He says Brown and question mark. Steel Loyal says Martavius, of course, is what he was going with there. Steel Loyal, Brown and Bryant. I synced it with my eyes. Also, yeah, I think AB and the Juicer. Of course, Juju had a big year. Mike, what is your thought process? A lot of different possibilities. I'm going to be honest with you.
All of them sound good.
They all sound good.
Start going process of elimination. Warden Holmes, we were still running the ball a lot back then with Bussy. Swan and Stallworth, it makes sense. 2 Hall of Famers, but we didn't throw a whole lot back there. I like Brown and Bryant sound good. Mike Wallace and Manny Sanders, I think is an underrated duo right there. But I'm going to go Brown and Bryant.
Brown and Bryant. And is this your final answer?
Varys Lovett kind of throws in a good one right there. But
I know,
but I'm going to go. I'm sticking with my guns. I hope they are right, though, but I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going with Brown and AB.
All right, that's what your final answer. You're sticking with Brown.
Yep.
Brown and Martavius Bryant. What you're saying?
Yeah, okay. Not Brown and AB. You know what I meant.
All right, so I'm going to lock you in, Mike. You were locked in on place here. I got to Steel Loyal a game on this as well, is because I love the I synced it. I mean, I say this with in my everyday life all the time. I synced it, and people often looked at me like I'm insane. But you know what? Every once in a while, people get you. I like that. There's a game ball going out to Steel on that one, my man. I love the I synced it. Always one of my favorites. Mark Malone, AB, and the Juicer. Also, probably AB and Juju, and they both had over 1,300. Varys Lovett said they both had over 1,000 yards together. Got to be AB and Juju. Guys, a lot of different answers here. Let's take a look at the question again, and we will find out the answer here in just one moment, guys. Question of the day. Which Steelers wide receiver tandem has the highest amount of receiving yards combined in a season in team history? All right, I'm going to give you a little lead up to this.
Okay.
I'm going to say somebody did get it correct. I will say that. I'll say, Mike, that Heinz Ward and Plex in 2002 came in second in this category with 2,654 yards. 2002, Heinz Ward and Plexico Burris. I also do want to say in 17, AB and Juju did come in third with 2,450 yards. Coming in at number 1 in this category, Mike, of Steelers wide receiver tandem that has the highest amount of receiving yards combined in a season is also AB and Juju. It happened again in 18 when they caught for 2,815 yards. They are first and they are third in this list, Mike. It happened in 2018, 2,815 yards, the most by a tandem of wide receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers in history of the team. Let's see if these 2 gentlemen that we have now could put a hurting on that record. Maybe they could crack it, Mike. But AB, Juju Smith-Schuster, 2018, that's the most ever by a stellar set of wide receivers.
Wow. And hey, you know what? It was fun to watch. You were hoping those times would last forever, especially when Big Ben back there slinging the ball around.
Yes, and Tyrone, they were crazy that year, and a lot of things going on in them days. Wish we could have got a little bit more out of that team, but you know what? It's the past. There's nothing we can do about that anymore. Mike, let's mention a couple of things here before we do get ready to wrap it up. Pirates by that win over the Yankees, Mike. They are 13-5, and the Yankees dropped to 11-6 in the preseason. Again, preseason it doesn't say anything, but at the end of the day, with the Pirates, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
We need any type of positive affirmation with the bucket. So, like you said, we'll take it.
Tommy String says, damn, almost 3,000 yards. That is crazy. Between two receivers, that is insane. I do want to say these things as well, guys. A lot of football. It's a lot of off-season action going on this month, Mike, heading into next month. And if you do stop to get your drink on at any point, just to enjoy yourself, maybe to take the edge off, guys, do stop and get yourself some Duquesne Pilsner. Mike, it is now available at Giant Eagle in 6-packs and 12-packs in cases anywhere. They are sold to guys at Duquesne Pilsner. Great group of people that always include us in their promotions, and we want to thank them by putting the word out there. And if maybe you're not a drinker, just stop by over their social media and do hit the follow button. Show them some love. Always got Duquesne Pilsner here at the studio, Mike, and I do. It's delicious, made right here in Pittsburgh, and it says on the can, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Also, Tyrone says Book of A-Rod, DK, 1,400, MPJ, 1,300. You know what? I'll certainly take it. We'll certainly take that. Varus Lovett says this team with Bell, no reason anyone should have put up more points than us in 2018 as the Bengals now all offense. No,
Yep.
I couldn't agree with you more, Varus. I want to say welcome to the show. Great comment. It's all day from Varus. Also, I do want to say these things, Mike. Do swing by and visit our social media out as well, guys. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, even TikTok. Swing by and hit the follow. Keep up with what's up with the two Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. I apologize about that. Also, guys, if you haven't yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the like, sub, share, or even comment. It all helps in the algorithm, guys. We appreciate it all. Mike, day 2, obviously not as active as day 1 was. Tampering period. It's tampering Tuesday, if you will, Mike. Tomorrow's the official kickoff for free agency. That's at 4:00 tomorrow p.m. Today's Tuesday. Again, I know people are ready. They want their guys. They know we know we need. We want it now. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't happen now, we'll wait it out. We'll get them. I think, Mike, right now that they're probably the most realistic thing they could be looking at. And if they are working on anything, should be something from the left part of that offensive line. I think, in my opinion, that's a no-brainer. And everything else, I think they handle from the draft. Maybe a surprise, a sneak in here or there, but also we have a lot of re-signing to do with guys that are already in black and gold uniforms. So I think that this is going to be in the works as well over these next couple of days, Mike, as we start getting an idea of the financial situation and how we're going to spend here on out. And again, just 44 days till the NFL draft, guys, right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So exciting. I can't believe it, Mike. It's going to be here next month.
Yeah, it's going to get here fast too, man. This part of free agency is going to fly through the first part. This week's going to fly. And then, it's going to slow down and you're going to have some trickle signings in. But I wonder right now if they're over at Steelers headquarters working out strategies to restructure with some guys to free up money to extend people like Porter, Darnell Washington, maybe, even our buddy Keanu Benton. I don't think he'd get a big extension, maybe a year or two. But there's guys that they want to extend and, figuring out, okay, who are we going to sign in free agency still? They got to have a lot of communication going on with guards. Hopefully some people on the D-line, because that's kind of what we did last year too. We were sprinkling in depth on the D-line as free agency went along. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see some signings on the D-line, nothing major, but like some nice depth signings.
Also, I do want to say welcome to Greg Kemp. Greg Kemp on the terrible board. Welcome to the show. Greg says, I think Steelers draft Bernard at wide receiver. He can play slot, outside, and run blocks. He reminds me of a type of wide receiver the Packers usually pick, Mike.
Yeah, and that would fit in with like the Mike McCarthy style.
Absolutely. Guys, also, I do want to say this. I do want to say thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. We certainly do appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting on the show. You are the lifeblood of this show. I always say that. I always mean that. Thank you. And then also everybody that's at home watching, listening, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're in the car, maybe you're shopping, whatever the case may be, maybe you're at work and you were listening or watching. Thank you as well, guys. Guys are amazing. You rock our world. Again, we only hope to be able to do back for you a fraction of what it is that you do for us. So thank you so much. It's about you. It's a show about the fans, the voice of the Pittsburgh Steeler Nation, Mike. It's always been that way. It's never going to change. Couple more things. Tyrone says, here we go. There we go. Always great seeing Tyrone. And again, all the new faces, guys, we want to thank you. Thank you for your participation on the board. We hope to see you back. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, the whole year around. Off season, we get everything in, man. We don't want to miss a thing. So everything that's going on, Mike, in just 44 days till the draft right here in Pittsburgh, it's going to fly. Believe me, you got UFL football. I mean, there's going to be TV. It's UFL. I get it, but there's going to be football on your TV soon, Mike. And then if you're in town, you do have the women, the Pittsburgh Passion, also kicking off next month as well. So it's going to be a lot, guys, going on. And the Penguins and Pirates not looking bad this year either. So a lot going on this off season, guys. We hope that everybody sticks with us, but we are here every day. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. And I do want to say, don't let anybody tell you that it's not Mario Day, Mike. It is Mario Day. Listen, I always get shit because I don't pay attention to dumb things like that. Like May 4th.
May 4th.
I'm just not, listen, I'm not a Star Wars guy and get the, well, it's May 4th, May 4th be with you or whatever it is. And then March 10th, Mario 10th. So there you go. I got in my corny quote of the day. Don't let anybody say they didn't, you weren't warned about Mario Day. Somebody will probably get you at some point throughout the day. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap this up for today, man?
Not a whole lot, but Steeler fans out, we're looking for another big splash. Don't be discouraged. It's going to slow down at some point, but I have a feeling the next couple of days they'll work on, and Weedle are going to have some surprises for us.
All right, I think you're right, Mike. Again, don't take your eyes off it. It's not going to be as busy as it was, but again, I wouldn't rule it out. We have needs. I do want to say, my man Greg, great to meet you, my man. He says,
yes,
"What's up,
welcome,
guys? I just found the channel and subscribing. Thank you, sir. Welcome." Mike, also, I do want to say that we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time again, 11:30 to 2:30 every day, right here on the Tube. You didn't follow me up with the Tube, Mike. What's going on?
On the Tube. I'm sorry. I pulled a derpy. I got caught reading the comments. Exactly. I deserve that. I'll go beat myself up after the show.
All right, there you go, everybody. Mike, I do think that is going to be everything. I do want to say this, guys. Tomorrow we'll be back. Free agency kicks off. Believe it or not,
officially
tomorrow, officially at 4:00. But we will be here at our regular time. I think that is going to be everything. Mike, one more time. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Great show, everyone. All the new people, Greg, everyone else who stopped by today, Ferris, love it. Welcome. Hope you guys subscribe. Keep coming back. We are, like Ryan said, we are here Monday through Friday talking Steelers. Little Penguins, little Pirates.
And also, guys, we are this is episode 923. We're inching our way to the big 1,000, which we're projecting to be in July, which is just so going to happen to work out, might be our 5 years as well. So a lot of things coming down the pike here on the show, and I think we got some pretty good stuff in store for you down the stretch as well. So, guys, we hope everybody sticks around. We thank everybody for coming and hanging out. Again, we hope to see you tomorrow. For Derpy, for Finch, for Chop, for RB, for Mike, myself, the two Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.